It is an absolutely glorious day here in Florida. Another beautiful spring training outing for the Yankees, and we are here at Walt Disney World. The Yankees signing autographs. They are here for another exhibition game, and it just seems like it's the perfect scenario. You can see why they call this the happiest place on earth. As today, the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Atlanta Braves from Champion Stadium in Lake Buena Vista, Florida. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball. Along with John Flaherty, I'm Michael Kay. The story of the spring, really, you know the Yankees are going to hit. What's going to be their pitching situation? Who's going to be the 4 and 5 starter? And if you think about it, everybody that's auditioning for that role has been lights out. Now, starting for the Yankees in this game is going to be Freddie Garcia, and Freddie Garcia feels good about what he's doing. Let's take a look at something that he said a little bit earlier in the spring. He said, I said on the first day of camp, if I lose the spot, it's my fault. Hopefully at the end of spring training, I will earn that spot. Last year in spring training, I wasn't 100%. I came here realizing my arm feels really good. Right now it's 100%, and I am letting it go. Other springs I had a spot in the rotation, but not here. So he feels good about things, John. Is he right to feel that way?
You know what? He feels healthy, and this is a guy who won 12 games for the White Sox last year. He knows how to pitch. He knows how to win big league games. If he's saying his arm feels healthy, he's going to have a good shot this spring.
Now, Judge, you already told me today that Freddie Garcia is better, his stuff-wise, this year than he was last year. Can he win 12 games with this Yankee team?
Oh, I think at a minimum, if he's healthy, this guy, if he's your number 5 starter, can give you 5, maybe 6 innings. Maybe we're looking at 13, 14 wins. You mentioned the Yankees offensively. They are going to score runs. If you can be the 5th starter and keep your club in a ball game, Freddie Garcia can do that. 4
guys battling for 2 spots, and it's making it very difficult for the Yankees. Look at those numbers right there of the 4 guys battling. Only 1 run has been given up. That was by Bartolo Colon in his first outing. His second outing was lights out. The Yankees have a very tough decision, and that's just the way they want it. The tougher it is, that means the better pitchers are going to come out on top. We know that Freddie Garcia is going to start for the Yanks, but you're also going to get a chance to see, that's right, Dellin Betances and Andrew Brackman, his first spring training outing. Lineups, first pitch, baseball, next on Yes. Oh, it's a sellout crowd here at Champion Stadium. A beautiful day, the sun shining down on the beautiful green grass, and we're ready for baseball. Jared Jurgens is warming up for the Braves, so let's take a look at the Yankees starting lineup that he's going to face, and it's presented by Lexus. Brett Gardner's in left field leading off. Batting second and playing right, Nick Swisher. Curtis Granderson, the center fielder, will hit third. Jorge Posada will DH. He's going to clean up. Batting 5th and catching, Jesus Montero. Jorge Vasquez, the first baseman, he'll bat 6th. Batting 7th, playing second base, Eduardo Nunez. Brandon Laird is at third base. He's going to hit 8th. Batting 9th and playing shortstop, Ramiro Pena.
The Yankee lineup going to face right-hander Jair Jurgens this afternoon for the Atlanta Braves. We'll take a look at his numbers from last season. 20 starts, 7 and 6, a 4.64 ERA. Opponents hit 270 off of him, and we'll take a look at our scouting report. From those numbers, you can see it was a down 2010, only 7 wins. He battled some hamstring and knee issues. He's healthy this spring. And pay attention to the velocity. It's been down a little bit at the beginning of spring training, looking to gain a few miles. He's got an outstanding changeup, and if he can get that fastball back, he will have a nice year.
So a perfect day. This is about an hour and 10 minutes away from Tampa, so the Yankees made the trip across I-4 to get here, and we're ready for baseball. A lot of Yankee fans in the crowd, Brave fans as well. This is their home ballpark. Jurgens is ready, so is Gardner, and let's do it here at Walt Disney World. And the first pitch is a strike, and we are underway. 47 steals for Brett Gardner, and he can lead off for the Yankees. Not going to lead off at the start of the season. That's going to be Derek Jeter's role. But the Yankees know they have a legitimate second leadoff guy if they ever decide to move Jeter somewhere else in the lineup. Now the question is, do you have Gardner bat second, or do you have him bat 9th? Last year he mostly batted 9th. The 0-2. 1-2.
First breaking ball of the afternoon for Jurgens, down in the dirt. Brett Gardner patient early, behind in the count. Trying to battle his way on base here to lead off the ball game.
A little bit of a wind blowing in from left center field, but not much. Nothing that really should affect the trajectory of the baseball. The 1-2. And the count 2-2.
Mentioned Jurgens has an outstanding changeup, really his bread and butter strikeout pitch, and that fastball just creeps over 90 miles an hour. Going to make that changeup a little bit more effective.
And that's what Gardner does. He works the count. So he's down 0-2, and now the count is full at 3-2. That's why he'd be a good leadoff hitter. From 0-2 to a walk, so Gardner is on.
We'll see what's on Joe Girardi's mind. A nice at-bat for Brett Gardner. You got to imagine he's going to be on the fly here.
Braves defense brought to you by DirecTV. Prado, Schaefer, and Young left to right. In the infield, Bowman, Gonzalez, Dan Ugla signed as a free agent during the offseason. Eric Hinsky's at first, Ross behind the plate, and Jurgens is on the mound.
Michael, you mentioned who's going to hit second for the Yankees, or lead off for the Yankees. I love Nick Swisher in this number 2 hole.
I think he loves it too, John.
Yeah, I mean, it's a perfect place to hit, but he's patient enough that he can work some deep counts. But he's also smart enough knowing when he's going to get some fastballs to drive, and you see the 29 home runs from last year.
Count 1-0. Joe Girardi managed a doubleheader yesterday. Yankees had a split squad. We had the game on in the afternoon, then they went to Sarasota to play the Orioles at night. And that was a real joyride, a 0-0 game. Very rare in spring training not to push across a run, especially winds blow, minor league fields, but 0-0 doesn't happen very often.
Well, a common theme, the good pitching all spring for the Yankees. I guess Sergio Mitre started that game and looked good. And on the outside looking in, it seems, for that 4th or 5th spot in the rotation.
There's a strike. A lot of people are looking at the Braves and saying, don't so quickly give the National League East to the Phillies. They like the Braves. Braves have good young pitching. Their farm system is overflowing. They've got another youngster that they're trying to plug into the whole scene in Freddie Freeman. Hayward last year, and remember, Jordan Schaefer in center field was what Hayward was last year, 2 years ago, but injuries kind of derailed him. So their farm system is flush with talent.
And a new manager on board, Freddie Gonzalez, after Bobby Cox. A great run here in Atlanta ends. Freddie takes over, 4 years as a coach for the Braves, so obviously knows the system, managed in Florida for the Marlins. It's been a smooth transition this spring.
And the count 3-1. Home plate umpire Jeff Nelson.
See the resume for Gonzalez. Marlins manager 2007 till 10. He coached for the Braves, like I mentioned. And another catcher in the Yankee farm system turned manager. Most intelligent guys on the field.
And in the booth. Must be a burden to have all that knowledge. Gardner goes, swing and a miss. The throw to second goes into center field, but Gardner stays right there. David Ross throws to the second base side of the bag, and it eluded both Gonzalez and Ugla.
Well, this is what speed will do to a catcher. You rush your throw, and a decent jump. Nick Swisher swings through the high fastball, and you mentioned it, Michael, a little left to the right side of second base. Gardner will be in there easily. Doesn't pick up the baseball in center field until it's too late.
So the second straight full count by Jurgens. And the 3-2. And the second straight walk. The Braves know with their payroll, it's always going to be middle of the road. And they're not going to be able to go out and get the big name free agents. So they decided a long time ago that they were going to pour most of their money into their farm system because they felt in order to remain competitive, they'd have to produce their own players. And John Sherholtz, who started this when he was a GM, now the president of the Braves, had a great comment earlier in the spring. He said that was our advantage over the teams that could go out and spend money. He said we knew that the Red Sox and the Yankees, if they needed a player, they'd go to the free agent market and spend money. He said, but like 5 years ago, the Red Sox and the Yankees started doing the same thing. And those are the top prospects rated by Baseball America. He said, when the Red Sox and the Yankees started doing it, I said, uh-oh, we're in trouble. He said, because not only do they have the money advantage, they get Gardner trying to steal third, but now they're also producing players. That's a good throw by David Ross. An attempted double steal as Gardner gunned down at third.
Well, David Ross has the advantage. Curtis Granderson, left-handed hitter. He's got a clear throwing lane to third base, and it was a high pitch, an easy throw for David Ross behind the plate. Brett Gardner gets caught at third. Nick Swisher moves in the scoring position.
Strike three on Granderson. So the whole inning turned on that caught stealing at third.
And we'll see the play at third base. Gardner sliding in head first. You can see the tag applied by Bowman.
Good call by the third base umpire, Paul Nauert. Got him on the hand before it touched the bag. So first and second, nobody out. Has turned into runner at second and 2 outs. And here's Jorge Posada. Talking to Jorge today before the game, how he's adjusting to the DH role. And he said, it's difficult down here, he said, because there's really no facilities to do other things. There's no film room and no batting cage behind most of the dugouts. He said, so I just sit on the bench and watch the game. Fouled away. He said, at home, I have the exercise bike. I have the batting cage right next to the dugout. I also have the film room behind the dugout. He said, so I've got options. He said, here, you just try to keep your mind on the game by watching it. He said, but it's tough when you've been catching and all of a sudden you're sitting on the bench and you have to be in the game as much as you used to be.
Well, Jorge had a nice afternoon yesterday. Played in that first game, a double and another base hit. So starting to find his swing here in spring training.
Check swing, did he go? No, said Paul Nauert.
Well, I was giving Jorge a hard time. He had his catcher's mitt on when he came into the dugout. He had all his equipment in front of him. It doesn't sound like he's going to have a need for it, but he still travels with it. I guess old habits are tough to break. Kind
of like a security blanket. People don't realize it, but John Flaherty brings it into the booth. It's amazing. The 1-2. 2-2.
Yeah, there's that good changeup from Jurgens. Kind of falls away from a left-handed hitter. Jorge Posada does a nice job of taking it. Even the count 2-2. Kind of a big piece for the Atlanta Braves in the rotation. He's slotted to be their number 3 starter.
Nub slowly off the mound. Jurgens bobbles, fires to first, and Posada, not fleet of foot, gets gunned down for the final out of the first. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. It's the Yankees nothing, and the Atlanta Braves coming to bat here at Champion Stadium. You're watching Yankees baseball on Yes.
A leader knows what it takes to be the best, like the Ford Escape, with quality that can't be beat by Honda or Toyota. During the Leadership Sales Drive, lease a new Escape for just $179 a month. Quality-minded, savings assured at your Tri-State Ford dealer.
Could switching to Geico really save you 15% or more on car insurance? Do dogs chase cats?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Want to know what it takes to be a leader? How about just being the best? Like Ford Escape with an unbelievable 28 miles per gallon. During our leadership,
The first baseman will bat fifth. Batting sixth and playing shortstop, Alex Gonzalez. David Ross will catch, will bat seventh. Matt Young's in right field, hitting eighth. And batting ninth and playing third base, Sean Bowman.
Freddie Gonzalez's lineup going to go to work against Freddie Garcia this afternoon. Right-hander trying to make this Yankee rotation. We'll take a look at his numbers from last year. 12 wins, an ERA 4.64, 45 walks and 157 innings. And our scouting report on Garcia is that he has a little different mindset this spring. Coming in, has to win a job, has to be ready to go from the first start. And he looked good his last outing. And everybody tells you he'll find a way to win some big league ball games. Knows how to mix and match, pitch behind in the count. And he will throw the kitchen sink at you in order to get a big out. We'll watch that this afternoon.
Here's Prado, and the pitch is outside 1-0. Joe Girardi paid him the ultimate compliment. He said he really knows how to pitch. He knows what to do. He creates on the mound. He said, you really, as a catcher, don't have enough fingers for all of his pitches. High fly ball right field. Swisher puts it away. Let's take a look at the Yankee defense, brought to you by DirecTV. In the outfield, we've already seen Swisher in right. You've got Granderson in center and Gardner in left. Go the other way in the infield, Laird, Pena, Nunez, and Vasquez third to first. The 21-year-old Jesus Montero behind the plate, and Freddie Garcia is on the mound.
You know, Michael, when you talk about Freddie Garcia, they say that he will pitch backwards. And by that, if you get a fastball count, he's going to throw you an off-speed pitch, maybe a changeup, slider, or curveball. And when you're in an off-speed count, ahead in the count 0-2-1-2, he'll try to sneak that fastball by you. Good changeup there, and I think that's what Joe Girardi's talking about. He knows how to pitch, knows how his stuff translates to getting outs. A real good changeup, good action down and away right there.
The 0-2. Now, the one thing about Garcia, he's a completely different pitcher than the one that used to pitch for the Seattle Mariners, because he threw much harder then, and he could throw the ball by you. Used to throw 95, 96 at times. You see what Garcia's done the last 5 seasons. A lot of injuries in there as well. But the interesting thing is now he barely touches 90, but he is almost as effective. That one's driven to center field. On the run is Granderson. He makes the play for the second out.
Oh, great jump by Curtis Granderson. That ball was hit right on the nose by Schaefer. You see shading to left center, gets a good jump. Nice catch over his left shoulder.
Another thing to note about Garcia is historically, throughout his career, he has had horrendous springs. I mean, just got tattooed, double-digit ERAs. But he knew coming in here that wasn't going to fly. It was not a case where he's just getting ready and working on things. He has to make the team. And so far, he's been effective. So he went in with his eyes wide open, knowing I can't have a double-digit ERA and come north with this team. There's Chipper Jones. His numbers in an injury-shortened year. Knee problems knocked him out toward the end of last year. High fly ball, left field. Gardner is there, battling a tough sun. He puts it away. So all 3 outfielders get a turn. They all make the putouts. We go to the second inning. There's no score. Yankees and the Braves from Disney. Me earlier today, I said it was a glorious day, and he said, you know what? That's a perfect word. Here's Jesus Montero. Interesting progression, John, with Montero. We're talking to hitting coach Kevin Long behind the cage today. And he said at the beginning of camp, I told Jesus, I said, you know what? I don't even want to see you taking BP. He said, just get the catching down. Make sure you're learning the pitches and you feel comfortable behind the plate. He said, but now, yesterday I told him, okay, now you have to start taking BP because you can't neglect your hitting. But they wanted him to concentrate on catching first.
Well, he's opened up a lot of eyes behind the plate defensively. I think he's had a better spring back there than people thought he would. As Kevin Long, Joe Girardi looking on. But you know what, Michael, when you're a major league player, you have a routine offensively on how to prepare for a game. And I think that's one of the things Kevin was talking about, not just the BP, but the extra work in the cage, right. Fine-tuning your swing.
Yes, yes.
And I think that's what Jesus probably has to get on a routine and find what works for him.
Strike three, Montero down looking.
Good fastball by Jurgens right on the outside half. I guess if there's one knock on Montero that I've seen so far, maybe covering the outside fastball. Looks like he's way off the plate and has that little toe tap with his front foot. Can't reach the outside corner, strike three.
Here's Jorge Vasquez. And there's a strike.
Yeah, well, talking to Kevin Long, it's got to be a fine line, Michael, with a guy like Montero. #1 prospect, has hit at every level in the minor leagues, has hit for power. Do you change anything? I mean, you probably just let this kid go out there and swing and see how he does, and maybe the first sign of some tough times, maybe you make some adjustments. But I think Kevin probably just letting him go this spring and see how it works out.
It's amazing, John. I'm sure you've discovered the same thing. It's unanimous where everybody says this guy is going to be a hitter. That's how good he is. Jorge Posada said, I said, well, I keep hearing he's going to be good. Give me numbers. And the 1-2 foul back, he said 325, 100 easily every year.
It's hard to believe you can put those numbers and easily in the same sentence. That's how talented they think that kid is. But the one thing Kevin Long was saying, you know, he'll have a couple of different setups at the plate, couple of different stances, and when he goes through a little tough time, supposedly he spreads out a little bit and he knows what it takes to get a base hit, which is incredibly advanced for a young hitter.
Right.
For Kevin Long to give him such a compliment like that. And, you know, obviously we haven't seen enough of him on a day-to-day basis. But hitting 300 with those type of numbers is not an easy thing to do.
And there was such certitude in Posada's voice. He didn't doubt it for a second. He said, this guy can hit. Vasquez strikes out, so 3 strikeouts for Jurgens.
Jurgens now starting to find a little bit of a rhythm. Back-to-back walks in the first inning. Was able to escape that jam, and this is a nasty slider slurve down and away. Starting to feel it a little bit.
Here's Eduardo Nunez, 3-run home run yesterday in the afternoon game. And a home run of Roy Oswalt as the Yankees beat up on the Phillies in that game. And there's a strike. Ooh, got him. Could not get out of the way. Didn't hit him square, luckily for Nunez, kind of brushed across his uniform.
Well, Jurgens can fall off the mound a little bit to the first base dugout. Fastballs will run inside. Check out the path of this fastball up and in with a little riding action inside. Nunez able to get out of the way, but gets clipped.
Here's Brandon Laird. Runner goes. Pitch is high. Throw to second. Not in time. So the Yankees running on David Ross, 2 out of 3 in stolen base attempts.
Yeah, very aggressive on the bases and a great jump from Nunez. Head first slide. A good throw from Ross on a off-speed pitch up in the zone. Gets rid of it in good shape. Up the line just a little bit. Ugla tries to put the tag down a little late.
Breaking ball whispers across the outside corner. Good numbers for Laird at Double-A last year. Has an outside chance to make the team as a backup. But many things have to go wrong for others. Eric Chavez looks like he's going to get the role that would be ticketed for Brandon Laird. Kind of a backup first baseman, third baseman, occasional DH. Although Chavez is a lefty bat and Laird's a righty bat. 1-2. Swing and a miss. That's an impressive second inning for Jair Jurgens as he strikes out the side. We played an inning and a half here at Disney. Yankees and the Braves are scoreless. You're watching Yes. We go to the bottom of the second inning. A sun-splashed day here in Lake Buena Vista, Florida, as Dan Uggla leads off. There's a strike. The Braves did invest in the free agent market and gave Uggla a big deal, taking him away from their division rival, the Marlins. Now, Uggla can hit. The big question is his defense. And how much will his defense cost the Braves? And they feel a little more comfortable with Uggla at second because they feel they have an outstanding shortstop in Alex Gonzalez. But I think it was the All-Star game where Uggla made 3 errors one year. Yeah. So he's not a great defender at all. Now, they got him in a trade, but then they signed him to a 5-year, $62 million extension. So I misspoke. It wasn't a straight free agent signing, but the Marlins were not going to be able to sign him to that deal.
Left-handed pitcher Michael Dunn in that deal, an ex-Yankee, a converted, I don't know if he was an outfielder, but a power left-handed arm, now in Florida. And talk about power, this guy has plenty of pop for a second baseman.
Could not hold up, and he goes down on strikes.
Well, looked like a backup changeup or maybe a backup slider to Uggla up in the zone. Yeah, he reads rotation that it's going to break away. It just spins up in the zone, middle. Can't hold up.
Were you a little surprised at the numbers they gave Uggla? I look at Uggla and I said, wow, he's a good hitter, but that's an awful lot of money to give a second baseman who's really, below average at second.
Well, you're paying him for the power, obviously. It's such a luxury to have a second baseman like Robinson Cano, who's that type of offensive player, and I'm sure that's what the Braves feel with Uggla. You're going to get a lot of production from a position usually you don't get it from.
And also, one of the great things about, many great things about Cano is you get that power and you get a Gold Glove at second. You wonder, though, the Marlins trade him within the division, and the Marlins very rarely make mistakes when it comes to talent evaluation. But he's the first second baseman in Major League history with 4 seasons of 30 or more home runs, so he can hit the ball out of the park. But again, the Marlins usually don't make personnel mistakes. High fly ball, right center. Granderson will make the play for the second out.
Michael, 5 outs into this ball game. You watch Garcia pitch, and he just has a nice rhythm about himself out there as Joe Girardi looking on. And that tells you Montero is doing a nice job behind the plate. Not a lot of shaking off going on. Looks like they're on the same page in a good rhythm. 5 up, 5 down. I think that's probably going to be evaluated more than anything. What type of a job Montero can do with a pitching staff calling a game.
Alex Gonzalez with a ground ball short. Pena to Vasquez. 6 up, 6 down for Freddie Garcia and the Yankees. Let's go to the third inning. There's no score on Yes. Scoreless. Yankees have had base runners. 3 to be precise. 2 walks and 1 batter hit by a pitch. But neither team has picked up a hit. Ramiro Pena will lead off here in the top of the third. The number 9 hitter in the Yankee order against Jurgens. And he bunts, pushes it toward third. Bowman fields, and the throw pulled Hinsky off the bag as Pena beats it out.
Well, Joe Girardi has to like what he sees there. Ramiro Pena leading off the inning. Nice little push bunt down the third base line. Bowman with a good throw just pulls Eric Hinsky off the base. Kind of a hard bunt, but it was down the line enough. A tough play for Bowman.
And they're going to give Pena a hit. Well, the Yankees have been running on Jurgens and Ross. So let's see if Pena goes. Here's Gardner. He walked in his first at bat, stole second, then was caught stealing third. And there's a bunt right in front of the plate. Fair ball. Good play by Ross. Goes back to first, not in time. What an acrobatic play by Alex Gonzalez to get that ball off toward first. But Ross quickly from behind the plate fielded the bunt and got the force at second.
Well, the bunt right in front of home plate, right when Ross makes the play. I don't think anybody's really thinking about a possibility of a double play except Gonzalez. What a great transfer and a good, strong throw to make it a close play with Brett Gardner. Or Jack Curry has been talking about Brett trying to incorporate the bunt into his game a little bit more this year. Just didn't get it out in front of home plate enough.
Here's Nick Swisher. Swings at the first pitch and pops it up. Bowman. Not enough room.
Well, we talked about Nick earlier, batting in that #2 spot in the lineup, and now he can kind of pick his spots on when he's going to be aggressive. Walked his first at bat, showed some patience, and comes up his second at bat. First pitch swinging at a fastball. A good pitch to hit, just fouled it off. Nick wasn't happy with our producer, Troy Benjamin, today.
What happened?
He says every time he looks at a video of his swing, he sees his postseason numbers on the screen. Says we're kind of pouncing on the negative.
Then I explained to Nick, you didn't hear the audio portion where I said you had a great series against the Twins, and that made him smile. Pitch outside. Now you look around Champion Stadium, and I talked to Gene Monahan, the Yankee trainer, and he's been in baseball, Major League Baseball, since 1973. He actually became the trainer the year that George Steinbrenner bought the team from CBS. So he's seen a lot. That one is drilled to right field. Matt Young giving chase, can't make the play, fields it on a short hop, and fires in. So runners on first and third for the Yankees with one out. Base hit for Swisher.
A big smile on Nick Swisher's face, and again, it's that changeup that adds a little bit of movement away. Nick out in front a little bit, hooks it down the right field line. Young does a nice job of keeping it in front. Brett Gardner has to freeze a little bit, sees it hit the grass and kicks it into another gear into third base easily.
Anyway, I asked Gene Monahan, have you ever seen a spring training ballpark with a second deck? And he said, absolutely never. He said, I've spoken about it before. He said, I cannot believe that this is a spring training facility with a second deck, an upper deck, so to speak. Usually it's one level. They did a nice job here at Disney building this ballpark. Yankees have runners on the corners with one out. Off speed, swung on a miss, 1-1.
You can see when Jurgens gets himself into some trouble, he goes to the off-speed plan, the changeup, and a little slider there. Curtis having a good spring training, couple of home runs already. He's trying to get the ball in the air here.
I talked to Kevin Long. I said, tell me the guys that have really impressed you. And he said, and Curtis happened to be in the batting cage at that point. He said, he picked right up where he left off. He said he has been so locked in. But the one guy he said that has impressed him the most, he said Alex Rodriguez. He said right now he's ready. He said he is so locked in. I've never seen him this locked in. And Kevin's been his hitting coach when he was an MVP. But Alex is coming to camp in good shape, not worried about the hip at all. And he does seem very locked in at the plate.
Yeah, obviously that's good news, but you wonder if you're a hitting instructor like Kevin Long looking on. You don't want guys to peak too early, you know? You want them to get hot at the end of spring training and ride it into the regular season. See if Alex can have a great spring and a great year.
Do some hitters feel as if they're wasting home runs and RBIs down here?
You know what? I think the ideal spring training is probably if you're a veteran player, obviously, where you know you're going to be on the team, Alex Rodriguez, you know you're going to start at third base. Come out of the gates a little bit slow in spring training. Fastball just misses. And by that, I mean where you have to work on your swing. You have to find what mechanics are going to lock in for you during the year where you can get right. You know, you can have a spring where you're locked in from the first day, and then all of a sudden opening day comes around, you go for 4, and you say, uh-oh, I don't know how to fix it now.
That one's drilled deep to center field, giving Chase Schaefer. He's on the run, and it's over his head, and it will roll to the wall. Gardner scores. Swisher rounds third. He'll score. It's a stand-up 2-run triple for Curtis Granderson, and the Yankees lead 2-0.
Well, that's what Kevin Long, the hitting instructor, has been watching all spring from Curtis Granderson. And watch how he gets that front foot down early. Good extension, keeps both hands on the bat, and just drills this ball to center field. Nice piece of situational hitting. Runner on third, less than 2 outs. You want to get the ball up in the air, and he hits a line drive to center field over Schaefer's head. Double and a couple RBIs, or I'm sorry, a triple and a couple RBIs.
Braves bring the infield in with Posada at the plate. Nice block there by Ross. And Jurgens are out to throw his 50th pitch. Oh, he's already thrown it now, 51st.
You see Jorge out on his numbers below 200, kind of like what I was talking about. Start off a little bit slow, and then you start finding your swing in the middle of spring training, and you hope you get hot at the end and take it right into the season.
And that's past the drawn-in infield for a base hit. Gonzalez couldn't come up with the line drive. Granderson scores an RBI single for Posada, and it's 3-0 Yankees.
A veteran hitter like Jorge Posada has been watching Jurgens all afternoon go to his off-speed pitch, a slider, the changeup. And Jorge gets a fastball and lets it get deep. It sounded like he might have broken his bat, but strong enough to fight it off the other way. Gets beat a little bit. Nice piece of hitting, picks up an RBI.
Montero slashes one foul. I thought Posada gave a very cute scouting report on Montero. He was telling John and me that he doesn't have a bad bone in his body. Yep. He said he's so young and innocent. He doesn't yet have a bad bone in his body, which would lead you to believe that you can develop bad bones. It is a changing of the guard in baseball. It's happened for over 100 years. You see the veteran there on the left, kind of passing the torch to the 21-year-old. And it has happened through the ages, and it's how the veteran handles it. On if you say he's going out in a classy way, and Posada has really helped Montero, always talking with him and kind of paying it forward. And it happened between Posada and Girardi. It is the circle of life in baseball. Ground ball to third. Bowman goes to second one. On to first. It's a double play. So an around the horn 5-4-3 a double play. But the Yankees score 3 runs on 3 hits. The big blow, though, off the bat of Curtis Granderson. It's a 2-run triple over the head of Schaefer. Why not when you're having more than one?
The New York Yankees are great moments.
See ya! What a play! He got him!
Yankee fans, bring your family, friends, or business associates to Yankee Stadium for a group outing and enjoy Yankees baseball in a game day suite. Game day suites can accommodate groups as small as 12 and up to 382 guests with all-inclusive food and non-alcoholic beverage packages. Make your special occasion legendary. Call 212-YANKEES, email suites@yankees.com, or log on to yankees.com/suites.
I thought if you had an older home, there was no way you could reduce your energy costs.
Boy, was I wrong.
We had our house performance tested by a contractor certified by the Building Performance Institute,
who found a host of problems that could be corrected.
They showed us what it would cost
and how much we'd save this year
and for years to come. We've reduced our energy use 45 to 50%.
And it's good for the environment.
How can you beat that?
For more true stories of how New Yorkers are saving energy, log on to getenergysmart.org.
We don't just take corners. We take on the world. We don't just make claims. We make news. The Cadillac CTS. We don't just make luxury cars. We make Cadillacs.
Visit your tri-state Cadillac dealer. or CadillacTristate.com for this attractive offer.
He's the godfather of sports talk.
He got whacked and whacked again.
Make the Mike Francesa Show your home for breaking sports news, in-studio interviews, and analysis of the hottest topics of the day.
He's the best quarterback in the world.
Weekday afternoons at 1, right here on Yes.
He is an actor and a comedian who has created some of the most memorable characters in history. Tonight, Adam Sandler sits down for GMC Presents Center Stage with our own Michael Kay. In this hilarious interview, Sandler looks back at his comedy career and he discusses some of his upcoming projects. Center Stage, Adam Sandler, tonight at 10 o'clock, only on Yes.
3-0 Yankees as we go to the bottom of the third. What a great guy, John.
That has to be a great show.
One of the nicest, most down-to-earth, famous people I've ever met.
I have an Adam Sandler story.
Okay.
Slider misses down and away. Adam Sandler threw out the first pitch at a Yankee game, right, to promote a movie.
Right.
And he came into the clubhouse, I mean, early. It was a day game, and he was there with his dad, I think, and he was all excited, hanging out with the players. And everybody had to get ready for this game, and he just kind of was hanging out by my locker, watching me go through. I was playing this day, watching me go through my pregame routine, just hanging out, talking. He was like fascinated by the whole thing. Throws the first pitch, I catch it, and as I'm walking off, I'm like, man, you could pitch in our bullpen this afternoon with that arm. And he thought that was the greatest thing ever. Adam Sandler.
Now, he also tells a story about that day on the show, and I'll give it away right here. Pavano was pitching that day. And he threw out the first pitch, and before he went to shake your hand, he turned to Pavano and said, good luck. And he said, I guess you're not supposed to say that, but Pavano just got tattooed that day. Yankees lost 18-3 or 18-2.
Shocking.
And so you fast forward a year, and he's in a club in L.A., and Pavano's there. So he sees Pavano. He says, hey, Pav, how you doing? And Pavano looks at him and goes, good luck. Backhanded by Pena, the long throw got him. Is that a thing in baseball? You don't say good luck to the pitcher?
I didn't know that, but obviously you don't say it to Carl Pavano when he's pitching for the Yankees going through a tough stretch. A nice play by Pena, the backhand. Over the top throwing motion, good four-seam carry.
The best part about the Sandler show, I don't know if you realize this, John, and I know that Adam watches almost every game on Yes, so he's listening or watching right now. He promised me at the end of the show that I will have a significant role in an upcoming movie.
Significant?
Well, I added significant, but he said I would have a role in an upcoming movie. Could be the next step for me. There's a ground ball to second. Nunez fields, and 2 away. So Garcia now 8 up and 8 down as the Yankee starters continue to impress in the spring.
Yeah, you hate to say he's making it look easy, but that's what it looks like for Freddie Garcia. Has all of his pitches, some good movement, some fly balls, couple of ground balls. Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach, has to be pleasantly pleased. And now all of a sudden, Michael, I mean, we came into this camp saying who's going to be the 4 or 5 starter. Now the Yankees have some options, it looks like.
They got a lot of options. We said at the start, all 4 of them have been close to perfect. The only run allowed, and if he gets one more out in 20 innings, it's just 1 run. And that was by Bartolo Colon in the first inning of his first game. Otherwise, they've been lights out. Now, let me ask you this, John, straight out, because Yankee fans are wondering, should we get excited? How much do you read into the first 2 starts of spring training? Does it mean anything?
Well, it means something for this guy on the mound because he's fighting for a job. You can't get too excited early in spring training. But the bottom line, Bartolo Colon has opened some eyes because of velocity. I mean, he hit 93 miles an hour with some really good sinking action on his fastball. Garcia's fastball, I think, is better than the Yankees thought it was going to be coming into camp. Larry Rothschild has been impressed with both of them. I guess it's a good problem to have when you have a tough decision at the end of camp with a couple of veterans who are trying to resurrect their careers.
Now, if you want to get excited about Yankee pitching, we've got more for you, so don't even think about turning off this game. You're going to see Juan Betances, kid from New York City, and you're also going to see Andrew Blackman. next two pitches, really some teams are for. I mean, it's 6'11". I think Betances is 8. Pretty good. Nick could do that. Bradman has not pitched yet in spring because he was battling a groin injury. There were some whispers that he had a chance to make this team with an impressive spring, as Bowman has worked the count full.
Yeah, they say he's a little bit further along in his development.
Yep. And he's older because he went to college, so he's 25. .30-second pitch for Garcia. Strike 3. And he finishes a perfect 3-inning stint. 2 strikeouts, 3 ground balls, and the rest all in the air. Joe Girardi has to be happy.
Your therapeutic shampoo is finally paying off.
We are going out tonight.
Just another reason to celebrate with Fridays, where right now it's 3 full courses for just $12.99. In here, it's always Friday.
If Crosby lights the lamp in Pittsburgh, will you cheer in Denver? If Luongo stands on his head in Vancouver, will you stand on your feet in Los Angeles? No matter where you live, you'll never miss a moment with NHL Center Ice on DirecTV. Following your favorite teams and players has never been easier. With up to 40 out-of-market games a week, with up to 20 in Razor Sharp HD. NHL Center Ice, the game lives where you do. Race for the cup and save with our lowest price of the season. Call 1-800-GET-SPORTS.
It's here. Rite Aid's free Wellness Plus rewards card. Discover all the ways Wellness Plus rewards you.
Join Wellness Plus today, and the more you shop, the more benefits you'll earn, like up to 20% off your purchases. That's like getting the whole store on sale every day for a year. Only at Rite Aid.
Vanessa insisted on high ceilings in a full-service building brimming with amenities. Stephen needed a skyline view from inside the park, a quick commute, and a fine aged cognac. No compromising was necessary. Life, surrounded by 85 acres of park. One Brooklyn Bridge Park, one of a kind.
On the Cadillac scoreboard, it's 3-0 Yankees over the Braves as we go to the 4th inning. Jorge Vasquez takes outside, 1-0. Good spring so far for Vasquez, who's opening some eyes. Foul bat. John, when you look at the battle for the 4th and 5th spots in the rotation, there are 4 guys battling. You know, I guess at the beginning of the spring, you say Andrew Brackman was. Look at those numbers. Now, inside the numbers, 20 innings, 1 run, 14 hits, 1 walk, and 14 strikeouts. That one's drilled to left field. That's going to be a base hit. Martin Prado will play it off the wall, and Jorge Vasquez a leadoff double. So a 14-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio, John.
Well, it's an impressive list there, the numbers, and you see Mitre, the 5 innings, 5 hits, and he's in the spot for a rotation battle, but he pitches out of the bullpen as well, so the Yankees know he can do that, maybe a little long relief. Mentioned Colon, and the velocity has impressed the Yankees. Nova showed some flashes last year.
Bunt attempt, throw through, and it goes into center, but Vasquez is going to stay right there. So David Ross is throwing a tailing fastball.
Well, he's got a little bit of movement. Actually, a good idea. If Gonzalez was there to apply the tag, they might have had a chance with Vasquez at second. See, Nunez bunts right through it, and Ross comes up, not even looking at second. A nice opportunity here for Nunez, a little situational hitting, a leadoff double by Vasquez. Can he advance him to third by hitting a ball to the right side? We saw his power yesterday, a home run, a 3-run shot, I believe.
That one is looped into right field. It's going to dunk in front of Young for a base hit. Vasquez had a hold up, didn't know if the right fielder would make the play. So the Yankees are set up. Runners on the corners and nobody out here in the fourth.
Yeah, Nunez excited with himself over at first base, and he should be. Joe Girardi has to love that when you see a young player know what his job is, drive the ball the other way. If you hit a ground ball, you advance the runner, but you might get rewarded with a base hit. Fights off a tailing fastball inside. Base hit, first and third.
Well, he's a threat to steal. Here's Brendan Laird as Nunez dives back.
Now, Michael, you can have a scout who evaluates all the talent. Nunez, you know, he's got power, he can play short, he's got arm strength, he can run. But Joe Girardi, manager, and the coaching staff, can this guy play baseball? Does he have the mindset, the mentality to realize situations and play the game the right way? He just proved he knew what he was doing in that event.
Count 2-0. Joe Girardi has a new car. Drove to Sarasota yesterday for the night portion of the split squad as the Yankees played the Orioles. That one is drilled to left field. Martin Prado back. He'll make the catch. Tagging is Vasquez. He'll score easily as the throw comes into the shortstop Gonzalez. So Laird gets the job done, a sac fly, and the Yankees are up 4-0.
Well, 3 good at-bats in this inning for the Yankees. Joe Girardi very pleased. And Laird gets ahead in the count 2-0 and gets a fastball right down Broadway, and he knows what to do with it, driving it to left field. Prado makes the catch, but it'll be a sacrifice fly and an RBI. What kind of a car do you get? What, do you got a new car?
He had to rent a car, and the team goes by the bus. The manager sometimes has stuff to do. They had a game before, so he drove there. And then Kevin Long had to get something out of his car, out of Joe's car, so Joe gave him the keys. And that's where the story split. Long insists he gave him back the keys. Joe said he's not sure if he did. Well, he didn't have the keys at the end of the game, so the car is still in Sarasota, and Joe had to take the bus back. And today he got another rent-a-car, so I don't know what's ever going to become of that car.
See, but that's where it's nice to be the manager of the New York Yankees, because you don't have to worry about it.
That's right.
You leave it there, and a new car will show up the next morning.
And someone will take care of it.
And it won't be him.
I wonder if Alamo will take care of it. Runner goes. Pitch is high. Throw to second. Not in time. Stolen base. Second stolen base for Nunez.
Well, David Ross behind the plate is getting a workout this afternoon. Fastball up and away. Gets rid of it in pretty good shape. This time to the shortstop side of second base. Gonzalez, a nice pick and a sweep tag. Doesn't get the call.
Ross is not the Braves starting catcher. That's Brian McCann, who does not have a spot in the lineup today. They gave him the day off. There are some that may argue that McCann might be the best catcher in the National League. Ramiro Pena battling with Nunez for one of those backup infield spots. He has struggled at the plate. He picked up a bunt single toward third in the third. Nunez is at second. One man out. Fouled away. This is how the Braves are projected to look this year. Now Schaefer is battling with McLouth in center. Looks like McLouth will probably start off there. You've got the second-year player Jason Hayward. Freddie Freeman might battle for Rookie of the Year. That's the infield. McCann. Not a bad team. But for the first time in the past 19 years, Bobby Cox is not the manager. And by all accounts, his hand-picked successor is the guy who took over. It's almost as if when Gonzalez went to Miami, that was just a pit spot. And then he got fired, and it made it perfect because Bobby said last year was going to be his last year. And this was an easy choice for them. He came up as a coach with Bobby Cox. Pena grounds back to the mound for the second out. And Bobby Cox, obviously, his next stop is going to be the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. 29 seasons as a big league manager. Pretty amazing. 4-time manager of the year. Won the World Series in 1995. 5 National League pennants. 4th all-time in wins. And he got thrown out a lot, too. And he has his own tent behind the right field wall. Really what that is out there, runner's going to go as the ball got away from Ross. What they did out there with those tents, Jason Hayward has such power that that's where a lot of people park. So they put tents up so that Jason Hayward did not destroy their windows. So there are cars underneath those tents.
Did you get to know Bobby Cox personally at all?
Not really. I dealt with him a couple times, but
yeah,
not really.
He was a tough manager to get a feel for when you played against him. Foul ball by Brett Gardner, because you couldn't tell if he was a tough manager, laid back. You mentioned he got thrown out a lot. And I actually was able to ask some of the players. Pete Smith, a friend of mine who played for him, said he will run through a wall for his players. That when you see him arguing, yelling at an umpire, sometimes you took it as maybe he's yelling at a player. You didn't know what he was doing. Said he would defend his players all day long.
Yeah, you don't find many players that have anything bad to say about Bobby Cox if they played for him. A lot of people thought that he was not going to follow through on his retirement. But he got into the playoffs last year. They lost in the first round, and he said, hey, I said I was done. I'm done. But he has been around spring training. Talks with Gonzalez all the time. Gonzalez trying to get him in uniform, but Bobby Cox won't do it. The 2-2 popped up. Bowman makes the play in foul territory, and that's going to do it. But the Yankees get another run. 2 hits. Now 1 man left. We played 3.5. It's 4-0 Yanks.
It's amazing what the right key can do for you. Whether it's getting to work or as far from it as possible. And now that Chevy Truck Month is here, it's time to get the keys that you can depend on. During Chevy Truck Month, qualified buyers get 0% APR financing for 60 months on a 2011 Tahoe. Get the keys that do more.
Welcome back to Geico Radio. It's savings on the radio. Hello, George and Linda.
Hello, Mr. Gecko.
So we're such huge fans
Of yours, and would be really honored
if you would marry us.
Me?
Yeah, you just seem so smart and so...
British sounding.
I'm not really qualified to speak on matters of the heart. Look, I'll tell you this. When you insure more than one car with Geico, you could save even more with our multi-car discount.
I now pronounce you thrifty.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Springtime belongs to the doers. Those of us who know grass doesn't turn green just because the calendar says to. And that a big difference can grow from a small budget. For those of us with grass on our sneakers, dirt on our jeans, and a lawn that's as healthy as our savings, the days are about to get a whole lot greener. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. We're lowering the cost of crowd control on those weeds with this Ryobi trimmer, just $89.
Today's Game on Yes is brought to you in part by the all-new Chevy Cruze. Visit ChevyOffers.com. And by NYSERDA. Energy, innovation, solutions. Good day for the Yankees so far as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning, and the Bombers are leading the Braves 4-0. And we're lucky enough to be joined by the manager of the New York Yankees, Joe Girardi. Joe, tell us the story of what happened to the car in Sarasota.
Good story. Well, we get to Sarasota. We get there a little bit late because, you know, we're there for the first game. And Kay Long forgets his hat in my car. and has to go back. I have to give him the keys. Has to go back and get his hat. And now he swears he gave me the keys back, but which possibly could have happened. But when I came in my office after the game, there were no keys, and that car is still in Sarasota.
Now, what's going to happen to that car, Joe?
Well,
are you going back and getting it, or somebody else?
Yeah, right after here, Michael, I'm going to drive down and get it, and I'm going to take you with me so you can drive the other one home.
You got it. Martin Prado will lead off against Dylan Betances. Pitches high. Before we talk about Betances, let's talk about Freddie Garcia.
Really good. You know, I've talked about Freddie. He knows how to compete. He knows how to mix his pitches. He knows how to locate, and that's what he did today. He used his fielders, and he's actually got to go down to the bullpen and throw about 20 more pitches. You know, he scheduled 3 innings or 50 pitches, and I think he only threw 30 or so. So he's got to go down there and get some more work, and that's great. I mean, that's how we want our pitchers, is efficient.
Well, Joe, you talk about Garcia and how good he looked. I was mentioning it looked like Montero and Garcia are on the same page.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Monty's learning a lot, and he's having to learn all these new pitchers, and you know, he has made so much progress since the time we saw him last spring. And you know, I mean, you talk about it before you go in the game, what you want to do, what you want to work on, and you have a plan, and he's been able to follow it.
First base runner for the Braves is Prado. Doubles over the head of Granderson in right center. Before we move on to Betances, Joe, the 4 guys that are battling for the 4th and 5th spots in the rotation, they've gone 20 innings. They've allowed 1 run, 14 strikeouts and 1 walk as we take a look at Garcia throwing down the bullpen. And I asked John this, so let me ask you, Joe, what does it mean? How much do we buy into that? I mean, do you look at that as legitimate, or is it too early?
Well, it is early, but you look at it legitimate. I mean, what I like is the no walks, and they're not beating themselves in a situation. They're challenging hitters. They're throwing a lot of strikes, and I mean, that's what you have to do. If you get behind in our division, and in baseball in general, you're going to get hurt as a pitcher, and they have not done that. They've been aggressive. They've thrown quality pitches. You looked at Sergio last night. Threw a lot of very good sinkers. He threw a lot of good changeups last night. We were pleased with that. Bartolo's been excellent, and so is Nova.
I'm going to ask you a question I know you won't answer, but I'll give it a shot. If the season started tomorrow,
I have no idea.
Who are you going to play? There's a line drive single to center field to base hit. Prado holds up as Vasquez cuts the ball off, so you wouldn't know which 2 pitchers would be the starters.
Well, we would have to sit down and talk about it as a group like we always do and decide what we're going to do. But right now they're making it hard, and that's why I said, you know, right from the start of spring training when we got here, we're not going to make this decision early. We're going to take our time. We're going to evaluate. We're going to make sure everyone's healthy when we leave spring training, and things usually have a way of ironing themselves out.
Now Betances on the mound here has got a little bit of a jam. 1st and 3rd, he's facing the veteran Chipper Jones. And Betances will set and deal. Hot shot up the middle, could be 2. There's 1, there's 2, and scoring is Prado. Let's talk about Betances before the inning ends, Joe. What do you think of this young man so far?
We like him a lot. He's got a big fastball. I mean, you'll see him anywhere from 90 to 95. He's got an outstanding curveball. His changeup's coming, his sliders coming. And what I like about that situation, you got 1st and 3rd, nobody out, and you got Chipper Jones up, you know, Hall of Famer, and you don't want him to panic and to start nibbling. And he went right at him. He got a double play, and a lot of times you're only 1 pitch from getting out of an inning and keeping the damage limited.
Quickly to the opposition, you had Ugla in Florida.
Yeah.
You like him?
Oh, I love him. Big time power. I think he's hit 30 homers 5 years in a row. Works extremely hard. Loves that fastball, and he can hit it a long ways.
Is he a detriment defensively, Joe?
No.
Or is that overstated?
I think it's overstated. I was happy with his defense, and you know, he's a strong young man. I mean, he doesn't have the range that all second basemen have, but his hands are sure. His arm is good. He turns the double play. I was happy with his defense.
Now, after Betances, you're going to have Brackman make his first spring appearance. Are you worried that he's going to try to do too much?
Well, I already talked to him about that. And when Danny Ugla is going really good, that's what he does. He uses the whole field. And you talk about that a lot about hitters. But sometimes he can get pole conscious, and that's when he gets in trouble. But Brackman's going to throw after Robertson. We have Betances scheduled for 2 innings, and I talked to Brackman about it. I said, look, don't try to make up time today. Just go out, just like your BP the other day, your live BP. Just get your inning in, you know, get your feet back, your feet wet, get going again. You don't have to try to make up for lost time because you really didn't lose much. You know, he maybe lost a game or two. And Dellen's going 2. I mean, he's going 1, so he's going to be 1 inning behind Dellen Betances in this situation. So I think he understands. I hope he does.
Pitch to Hinske is high. But in reality, there was some talk at the start of camp that because Brackman is further along than the other 2 Bs, that he had a chance to make the team. But after missing 2 starts, does he really have a chance?
Well, I wouldn't panic if I was him. I mean, because we're going to take that whole spring training to evaluate it. And we consider him a starter right now. But he's a guy, you know, that could pitch out of the bullpen. We like his stuff. He's come so far since last spring training. It's amazing to me, the difference in this young man. And there's no rush. I mean, we still have, what, 23 days until opening day? I mean, there's no rush.
Count 1-1. Hinske at the plate. Runner at first base. Grounded foul. You like Betances' makeup? Obviously, you know him better than we do. You get to see him interact with his teammates. What do you sense from this kid from New York?
I sense he's pretty poised. You know, he's pitched in some difficult situations. He's had to face the Manny Ramirez and the Chipper Jones, and he's had to face all the big hitters. And he's done very well. And he works extremely hard. We're very pleased with his work ethic. We like him a lot.
Count now 2-2 as Hinske's at the plate.
Looks like he tried to throw a changeup there, Joe. Would that be the pitch that he really needs to work on?
Yeah, that's part of it. You know, when it's early in spring training and these guys are trying to get the feel for their off speed, but he's got an outstanding curveball. I think that's ahead of his changeup, and that looked like a curveball right there. And you know, strike 3, good pitch.
Joe, I'll beat you after the game. We'll drive to Sarasota.
All
we'll
right.
pick that baby up, okay?
Get me a shortcut, please.
You got it. 1 run, 3 hits, and 2 men left. So the Braves are on the board. Yankees lead 4-1 on the Cadillac scoreboard.
How can your car respond to over 10,000 voice commands? Get the all-new Ford Edge with My Ford Touch. It even reads your text messages. During the Leadership Sales Drive, lease an all-new Edge for just $229 a month. Smartest crossover. Phenomenal deal at your Tri-State Ford dealer.
I got this new City thank you card and started earning loads of points.
Okay, we'll leave that there for now. Put this on.
You got a weather balloon with points.
Yes, I did.
Points I could use for just about anything.
There it is.
So I used mine to get a whole new perspective. The new City Thank You Premier Card gives you more ways to earn points. What's your story? City can help you write it.
Get out of the cookie-cutter carpool and ditch the box on wheels for this. The road-ripping Mazda 3. It outperforms Civic and Corolla with more standard horsepower plus 16-inch wheels, and comes with available high-tech features like push-button start and Bluetooth phone and audio technology. Now get a low $149 a month, 36-month lease on the Mazda 3, but only through March.
Your therapeutic shampoo is finally paying off.
We are going out tonight!
Just another reason to celebrate with Fridays, where right now it's 3 full courses for just $12.99. In here, it's always Friday.
Leadership isn't given, it's earned. And the all-new Ford Edge is a proven leader with the best fuel economy in its class. During our Leadership Sales Drive, you can lease an all-new Edge all-wheel drive for just $229 a month. Unbeatable value, incredible deal at your Tri-State Ford dealer.
Yankees lead the Braves 4-1 on the Audi scoreboard as we go to the top of the 5th inning. Want to remind everybody that this Friday the Yankees host the Braves again for a rematch at Steinbrenner Field. You can join Bob Lorenz and John Flaherty for coverage starting at 1 and later Friday at 10 after the Nets postgame. Get all the latest news from Tampa with an all-new Yankee spring training report presented by Lincoln, only on Yes. New pitcher for the Braves is the left-hander George Sherrill as Jair Jurgens goes 4 innings and allows 6 hits and 4 runs. Yankees lead 4-1. As we start here in the top of the 5th, those are the numbers that Sherrill had last year with the Dodgers. Not a great ERA. And there's a strike to Nick Swisher, who spins around to the right side against the lefty. Sherrill also top of the 5th inning. We get joined by our very own Jack Curry. Now, Jack, one thing that we've noticed is that Joe has split up the infielders and the outfielders. So the game we did yesterday, all the starting outfielders played, and the game in Sarasota, all the starting infielders played. Starting, I mean the guys that should start the season. Same thing again today. What's behind that madness?
Right, Girardi's strategy is he wants to keep those units together. He has the 4 infielders, as you said, traveling together, and he has the 3 outfielders traveling together. And interesting is it can cause some things to happen that you might not see happen very often. Guys like A-Rod and Jeter and Teixeira and Cano, they might not normally take these long road trips, but on back-to-back days, they ended up being the team because the Yankees had a split squad. They ended up being the guys who had to travel. So you had the Yankees' $78 million infield having to be the ones who got on the road and took those road trips that veterans are usually able to avoid.
Well, the joke around Yankee camp is that Mariano Rivera doesn't even have gray uniform pants because he never goes on the road.
It's true, and Mo makes his own schedule, and I talked to Curtis Granderson about it, and he said, I like it because it keeps me together with Gardner and Swisher, and there's a chemistry there, but Teixeira is his locker mate.
Ground ball up the middle, and under the glove of a diving Gonzalez, a base hit for Swisher. He's 2 for 2 with a walk.
Granderson was saying, Michael and John, that Teixeira sits next to him, and he said, I feel like I haven't seen the guy for a week because their schedules aren't aligned. But I'm sure that in the last week to 10 days of the season, when Girardi wants to play his full complement of players and head into the season, he'll have the full lineup. But for now, he likes the idea of having those units together.
Would you have liked that, John, as a player?
You know what? My biggest thing was trying to get to work with a pitcher that maybe I wasn't familiar with.
Right.
So, you know, that was the most important thing, trying to hook up, whether it's a road trip or a minor league game, hook up with a guy you needed to get some work done with. But I kind of like this system that Joe has going, Jack, because the guys can't complain that so-and-so's going on all, or isn't going on any trips, and kind of keep it pretty equal.
And the part I failed to mention is obviously he's working in days off, too. Not everyone is playing every day. There are some days where guys might be getting some conditioning in or things like that, but I think it works for this early part of the spring. But as I said, I think as you get closer to the schedule, you want to have your full team together, and I'm sure Girardi will do that.
Now, Granderson at the plate has a 2-1 count. He had a 2-run triple. He's had a good spring so far, Jack.
He really has, and he's going to continue that, Michael, roping that ball to right field. And talking to him yesterday, I asked him about the changes that Kevin Long made last August, and I said, how easy is it to carry that into the season? Because even though you did it for 6 or 8 weeks, and we're going to see a replay here of this, just lining that ball right over second base. He said, and we see that swing right now, the drills that he does with Kevin Long, he said he has picked those up as easily as possible. But he said actually doing the work in the game, he said it's almost like he's got to find that swing again.
I guess good news for him facing a lefty there, Jack, left on left, and hard base hit to right field.
Yeah, we saw him last year, how much better he got against left-handed pitching. Looks like Melky Mesa is now going to pinch run for him. But yeah, he said, listen, I've changed my swing a lot. I changed it twice in 06. I changed it again in 07. And he likes the changes that Long made with him last season. But I guess I was just a little surprised that after all that work, he still had to come back this year, and he said it's a repetitiveness thing. I have to see the pitches to know I can do it in a game.
Kyle Higashioka is pinch hitting for Posada. First and second, 2-0 count. That one is laced to right field. Young will make the catch, and Nick Swisher will head back to second. Now, Dylan Betances pitched the bottom of the 4th inning, gave up a run, and he shows his flashes of brilliance. What's the sense you're getting about the Yankees' review of this youngster so far?
I think they like him a lot, Michael. Obviously, I mean, he's got that heavy fastball. It's 92 to 96. He's got the knuckle curve. He told me after one batting practice session, Derek Jeter was one of the batters he faced, and I think Betances is going to take this with him when he goes to the minor leagues. He said Jeter told him, with the way that you throw, if you get ahead of guys, they're going to have a hard time hitting you. So he said you've got to get ahead in the count because he's got that knuckle curve. He's got the fastball that I mentioned. So I think the Yankees are obviously very high on this kid, one of the best prospects in their organization. But like Banuelos, he needs seasoning. He has to go to Double-A. He's got to get some innings under his belt. He would like to be in the major leagues this year, but the Yankees obviously are going to take their time with these guys.
Now Montero, who has worked the count 2-0, he wants to be in the major leagues as well. It looks like he probably will be. What are the guys saying about him?
Yeah, I think you're right, Michael. I even thought before Cervelli got injured that Joe Girardi was offering hints and indications that he liked the idea of Montero playing a couple of games a week and learning at this level. Talked to Tony Pena this morning, and a lot of it was about defense. You see that ball go foul there, but he talked about some of the improvements he's made with Montero behind the plate. A lot of footwork issues, and John will understand this. A lot of getting to the ball. Has a great arm, and it's powerful, but Tony said it's getting the ball out of the glove and throwing it before you stand up. He said sometimes Montero has a tendency to want to almost stand up before he lets go of the ball, and Tony said if you do that, it's too late.
Sherrill deals a 2-2. Fouled away. You know, getting back to something that Jack said about Betances, I've always wanted to ask you this question, John. I never did. Here a guy throws a heavy ball. As a catcher, what does a heavy ball mean, and does it feel different when you catch it?
Oh, it definitely feels different. You'll feel it in your left shoulder, kind of the vibration all the way through your arm. And it's found another foul ball. It's hard to explain why somebody has a heavy ball or, you know, a ball that has life on it. It's the way it comes out of his hand. I've been impressed with Betances out on the mound. But what's he all about in the clubhouse, Jack? I mean, does he know how good he is? Does he know how close he is?
Yeah, I think he does. And it's interesting that you mentioned that, because I tell you what, he has a very good demeanor about him. He's humble, but
Montero
he's a guy
down on strikes.
Sorry, Michael. But he's a guy, Flash, who clearly believes that he belongs and wants to stay here, and also has a politeness and an affability about him. The first day I introduced myself to him and wanted to interview him and talk to him, he was sitting at his locker. He stood up, shook my hand, and I think he has been taught, or he believes that if you're going to talk to somebody or have an interview with somebody, you need to stand up. And it was very nice, and since then I've talked to him a few times, and I know he has family back in New York, New Jersey area watching him, and he definitely is a guy, growing up a Yankee fan, he wants to get there fast.
Vasquez swings and misses. It's an amazing story because, I mean, I harken back to when John was a player. He would look into the locker and not even get up. His back would be to you while you were talking to him.
Well, the one thing that you have to realize is that you were going to the Jeters and the A-Rods and the Randy Johnsons, and the backup catcher just had to look in his locker. You never gave him the time of day. Now, Jack Curry, on the other hand,
right,
equal opportunity reporter.
Talked with you a lot.
Everybody.
I would go to the backup catcher. I would go to the bullpen pitcher, Michael. I didn't always go to the top of the rung like you did, but I have to tell you a quick story. In my previous life as a sports writer at the New York Times, one of my first jobs was covering the Nets. I interviewed Derek Coleman's back for about 80 games one year.
Swing and a miss, so Sherrill comes back nicely. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. Jack's going to stay with us as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Yankees up by 3.
40 years ago, he wasn't worried about retirement. He'd yet to hear of mutual funds, IRAs, or annuities. Back then, he had something more important to do. He wasn't focused on his future. But fortunately, somebody else was. At USAA, we provide retirement solutions for our military, veterans, and their families. From investments to life insurance to healthcare options. Learn more with our free USAA Retirement Guide. Call 877-242-USAA.
Luxury everywhere you look. First of its kind technology. When your heart and head are saying the same thing, listen.
At the Lincoln Spring Forward event, get an attractive sign and drive lease plus 4 years complimentary maintenance on a Lincoln MKX.
It's not just luxury, it's smarter than that.
It's the bottom of the 9th. Full count. It all comes down to this pitch. Darryl steps up to the plate. It could be. It could be. It's gone. Darryl has done it again.
Save $80 on the Easton Stealth Speed Bat. This and everything baseball. Sports Authority. All things sporting good.
New Jersey Nets basketball is on the Yes Network.
What a feed by Williams.
With rib rockin' action and fan-frenzied drama.
Lopez, big finish. High energy here in Newark. It's good.
Warriors coverage starts tomorrow at 6:30 only on Yes.
Got another one for you when Brackman comes in.
Yankee fans, individual game tickets for Yankees 2011 home games go on sale Friday, March 11th at 10 a.m. Log on to Yankees.com this Friday. Be the first of your friends to purchase your 2011 individual game tickets. Go to Yankees.com on Friday, March 11th at 10 a.m. for your 2011 Yankees individual game tickets. Audi scoreboard as the Yankees up 4-1. Dylan Betances, his second inning of work. And he'll face the veteran Alex Gonzalez. Pitches high. So Austin Crum takes over in left for the Yankees. Melky Mesa in center. And Jordan Perez in right. Sometimes it's interesting, and both of you guys could speak to this. Sometimes you have a very high-profile rookie that is considered to be outstanding, has a great future, and he walks into the clubhouse as if he owns the place and doesn't pay the proper due or respect to the veterans. Did you ever see that happen, John?
Oh, yeah, a lot. A lot.
We're going to need some names.
Every young player that came up with the Tampa Bay Devil Rays in probably 2002.
Really?
You can go to the book. It was a little different back then because, you know, obviously Tampa was in a rebuilding stage at that point, giving all young kids an opportunity, getting rid of the veterans unless you were a guy making some money and they couldn't trade you like myself.
Right.
Then you had to sit there and play with all the young kids.
The 2-2. That's an impressive at-bat for Betances as he blows a 95-mile-an-hour fastball past Gonzalez.
It looks like he's quickened up his delivery a little bit. The ball coming out of his hand nicely, just a power fastball. It looked a little late his first inning of work, but the delivery right on time with this fastball, right down the middle, right by Gonzalez.
Michael, I know John mentioned it earlier about Montero, and we're obviously talking about the pitchers, but in speaking to Tony Pena, one of the things he's watching with for Montero is, said Montero, when he was behind the plate, used to keep his toes pointed toward the pitcher. And if we can see right now what Montero is doing now is they have him just spreading those toes out a little bit. Obviously the right foot to the right a little bit, the left foot to the left a little bit. And Tony said that gives him better balance. It makes him a little more relaxed. It keeps him, in his words, quieter. But here's the other thing about it. When he gives pitches, they want him to keep the toes pointed towards the pitcher because he has to keep the sign from the first base coach or somebody who's in the dugout or somebody in the on-deck circle. So Tony said it's a lesson every day for the kid, and he said he really thinks he's adapted to that.
The 2-0. Foul bat. Is your toes pointed like that, John?
Yeah, I used to catch exactly like Montero with his feet kind of ducked out a little bit.
Like 10-2.
Yeah, and you know, I'll tell you what, I guess the greatest compliment you can give him and Tony Pena, Jack, is that he looks comfortable back there. When you watch him, it doesn't look like it's a struggle. He's in a comfortable position, receiving the ball well.
Betances around 94, 95 this inning.
Tony talked about the footwork and where he wants his feet planted, but he also said he had a tendency to drop his left elbow, and he said you can't have your left elbow brushing up against your left knee, and when you're coming up to throw, that'll cause a problem.
So it's almost like you're at the dinner table. You can't rest your elbows on your knees in front of you.
The one thing it's interesting when you watch is Tony Pena looking on is he kind of maybe gets his left elbow caught where his left knee is. You can see the feet right there. He'll have a little trouble with that fastball inside with that stance.
So a walk to David Ross.
I guess the one thing I'd like to see from Montero, and I know he threw out a couple of base runners in the game. I haven't seen him throw in a game situation yet and see what kind of shape he comes out from behind the plate. What does Tony have to say about that?
Last week in Bradenton, John, I was actually at that game where he threw the 2 runners out, and I'll tell you what, I understood what Tony was saying about how he gets up tall. He did throw the 2 guys out, but hadn't really, as Joe Mauer's a big guy, but he's so athletic that you don't notice it. I noticed Montero's height when he made the throw, and I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but that's what jumped out at me was how, wow, he's tall back there.
Plenty of arm strength. I mean, you watch him in between innings throw to second base. You see the ball jumps out of his hand. That's not going to be a problem.
Montero wants to talk with Betances. Matt Young grounded out to second in the third. In terms of these two kids that are talking on the mound, Jack, how do they integrate themselves into the clubhouse? Are they respectful of the veterans, or are they kind of walk around with a strut?
From what I've seen of both of them, I mentioned Betances' demeanor, very humble kid. And from what I've seen of Montero, he's back in that catcher's row, which both of you guys know it. For our viewers, all the catchers have their lockers in the back row of the clubhouse. You have Posada, Cervelli, Romine, Molina, and Montero. Montero, to me, looks like the kid who shows up each morning and hands in his homework assignment. He doesn't really speak too much, a word here, a word there, but he seems very respectful of his teammates. Russ
Count
Martin,
2-2.
I forgot Russ Martin. He's in that row too.
Why do all the catchers have to sit together, John? Why can't they make friends with other people?
They don't have to. They just like the conversation with the most intelligent people on the club. So they all hang out together, talk some baseball, try to learn something.
I got a nugget for you on Montero. Michael's always hitting me for nuggets, John. Here's a Montero nugget. Our friend Sweeney Murdy, who works for WFAN, Montero actually approached Sweeney and said, I don't know how to pronounce your first name. Could you tell me the pronunciation of your first name? Now that's a kid who's doing his homework.
Popped up. Austin Crum for the second out. That's pretty impressive. So what, did he read Sweeney's name somewhere? I mean, if he heard the guy named called Sweeney Murdy, there you got the pronunciation right there.
Well, Jason Zillo gives all the players, especially the younger players, and we see those Yankee prospects, and 6 in the top 100. The Yankees were happy about that. Their organization was ranked 5th overall by Baseball America. The Yankees give out a media checklist, a media sheet, Michael, to every player, and on that list are headshots of all of the media who regularly cover the team. In fact, I've gotten a look at it, and I'd have to tell you guys, it might be time to replace the headshots.
Really? Not attractive. Well, I mean, I can only go with what God gave me.
I'm going to keep my mouth shut. There's a comment I can make. It's early in the season. I'm going to hold off.
Really? That's unlike you.
They're actually very nice. They're your headshots from Yes Network and the Media Guide. I'm only having fun with you. But there's rules, there's regulations. I mean, Jason Zillo, they have a meeting with the players before before this game start, and I think that's probably where he saw Sweeney's name.
High fly ball right field. Perez will put it away. 2 innings for Dylan Betances. He allows 1 run and 3 hits. We go to the 6th, 4-1 Yanks.
It's comparable to the Camry's Camry.
Why do so many car companies compare themselves to Camry? Maybe it's because Camry is the #1 selling car in America. Or because Camry was named an excellent value by IntelliChoice.com. Lease a 2011 Toyota Camry for just $179 a month, or get 0% APR financing for 60 months. And when you lease or finance Camry, get an additional $500 in down payment assistance. We're #1 for a reason. Come see for yourself. Hurry in for the best selection.
Sniffing out the best pre-owned Lexus is now puppy's play at preownedplatinum.com. Fetch the pick of the litter from the inventories of the Tri-State's leading Lexus dealers. That's hundreds of cars from which we pick the highest value, lowest priced Lexus in the market that day. Unconditional love or exchange it within 48 hours. At preownedplatinum.com, pedigree is assured by a Carfax vehicle history. We are doggedly committed to making credit easy. So log on now. The pick of the Lexus litter is waiting for you at preownedplatinum.com. We lick those other websites.
If you think you have to put off getting a new car, think twice, as in Bay Ridge Nissan.
And Nissan on Manhattan.
The combined strength of 2 of New York's biggest Nissan dealers can offer you easy, low-cost financing.
With twice the selection, twice the credit available. That means our prices just can't be beat, and we can prove it.
Just bring in any ad. 2 times the service.
2 times the savings.
So come in and see how the power of 2
makes beating any price
twice as nice.
The in crowd. They know the in spots, the in places, inside and out. They know the beautiful people, and they know how to get there in style. The in crowd, those who choose Infinity of Manhattan. In Manhattan, yet in keeping with low price and high quality, and inviting the tri-state area to save on
the G25X at an insider's price of only $289 per month.
So get into the in crowd. Get into Infinity of Manhattan.
We go to the top of the 6th inning. It's 4-1 Yankees. New pitcher for the Braves, Scott Linebrink. Last year with the White Sox, those were Linebrink's numbers. A little too many home runs. And he will take over. He's the Braves' third pitcher. I got a text, John Flaherty. You mentioned that Rays team, the minor leaguers, kind of a Chris Singleton, our good buddy who works for ESPN, texted me, said, "Tell Flash I agree. The Rays minor leaguers and rookies were intimidating because they outnumbered us."
That's exactly right.
Linebrink deals. Grounded foul.
Michael, I talked to Robinson Cano yesterday about Nunez after Nunez hit that 3-run homer, and we've mentioned a few times how Cano worked out with Nunez in the Dominican Republic in the offseason, and Cano just smiled and said, "That's why I told him to come and work out with me."
Ground ball through the left side, a base hit. So Nunez hot hitting continues. He's 2 for 2 and was hit by a pitch. Also has 2 stolen bases already.
Did a nice job of situational hitting his second at bat. Joe Girardi has a lot of tough decisions, and I guess that's good news because a lot of guys are stepping up this spring trying to win a job. Take a look at the swing. It looks like a slider down and away. He's off balance but stays through the zone. Rifles it into left field.
Now, Derek Jeter during this offseason signed a 3-year contract with a 4th-year option. Runner goes, throw to second. Ball gets away, so he is safe. 3rd stolen base for Nunez. So they are running on Ross. Runner at second base. Count 1-0 on Laird. Now, Derek plans to be the shortstop for the 4 years. You don't know if that's going to be the case if he ever makes a move to another position. But, Jack, from what you could tell, do the Yankees consider Nunez to be the heir apparent at shortstop? Do they look at him in that way, that he's got that level of talent to be a starting shortstop?
I think he could be a starting shortstop in the major leagues. I'll answer the question that way. To say an heir apparent for a guy, as you said, who has 3 more years left on his deal, and since there's a player option, could have 4 more years, and I believe that Derek will play those 4 more years. I think it's hard to christen somebody as an heir apparent. I think that's why when you look at this spring training, we've seen Nunez play games at 3rd, short. Today he's at 2nd. I think the Yankees are going to milk everything they can out of this guy's versatility, and his job in the major leagues for the next couple of years, and as you said, as long as Jeter stays at shortstop, might be getting 300 at-bats a year by playing multiple positions.
Swing and a miss as Laird goes down on strikes. He's 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts. Well, to show you how much the Yankees think of Eduardo Nunez, when they were trying to get Cliff Lee from the Mariners, if Brian Cashman had included either Nunez or Nova, that deal would have happened and Cliff Lee would have been a Yankee, and Cashman refused to put those guys in addition to Montero and the package they had put together.
Right, it's interesting when Cashman talks about that because he freely admits he was ready to give up Montero, his #1 prospect, but then he gets very defensive and says, but wait a second, and here goes Nunez.
Hit and run as the shortstop was actually going to try to come in behind Nunez, and Pena just hit it through the vacated hole, so Nunez scores. Not really a hit and run, it was a pickoff and run, and it's a 5-1 Yankee lead.
Pena having a nice afternoon too, so having a tough spring so far, but his sec hit, Nunez takes off and just a nice piece of hitting, slapping it the other way. Nunez really making an impression this afternoon, swinging the bat and being aggressive on the bases. Will obviously score easily.
John, do you think that Linebrink missed a pickoff? Because Gonzalez was not at shortstop. He had gone into second base.
Yeah, you wonder if they had the daylight play where Gonzalez flashes his glove and Linebrink didn't see it.
There's a strike to Austin Crum.
We know Pena and Nunez are competing against each other this spring, but they're also good buddies, and their lockers are near each other in the clubhouse. And yesterday, obviously because Jeter was playing in the night game, he showed up in the clubhouse just to pick up his bag and then get on the bus, and he didn't realize what happened in the game, so there was a crowd of reporters around Nunez's locker because he had hit a 3-run homer. So Jeter looked over at Pena quizzically and said, you know, what's going on with him? And Pena kind of smiled and said, he hit a home run. And then Pena paused and said, 2 guys on. And Jeter looked over and said, I guess I should have figured that out. He's smiling as they ask him the question. So
runner goes. Swung and missed. Throw to second. Got him. What a pick by the shortstop Gonzalez. Picked the short hop and made the tag.
David Ross has actually made 2 pretty good throws in this inning. Ugla was not able to pick the first one. As Ross comes out in pretty good shape, but Gonzalez, who's had a nice afternoon, some acrobatic plays, a nice pick and applying the tag on Ramiro Pena. I think the Braves are going to enjoy having him at shortstop for a full year.
Got him late last season from the Blue Jays. Count 2-2 on Crum.
Now, Jack, with Nunez having a nice spring and Derek signed for 3 more years plus an option, I mean, would that change Brian Cashman's mind maybe that this guy could be a valuable trade chip for a starting pitcher at some point?
I think that's always a possibility. I mean, I think it would have to be a front end of the rotation guy. I think the Yankees do have that much thought in Nunez's future that they're not going to give him away for a number 4 pitcher or something like that. They might include him in a package for a front end of the rotation guy. But they also might think this guy's a valuable guy to have around. He plays an important position.
Crum grounds out to second. That'll do it. Yankees get a run on 2 hits. Nobody left. We go to the bottom of the 6th. It's 5-1 New York over Atlanta.
Why drive an SUV that's as aerodynamic?
Europe's best when Arsenal takes on Barcelona in a Champions League duel. After beating Barcelona at home, the Gunners travel to Spain with hopes of advancing to the quarterfinals. It all starts Thursday at 7:30 with a full match preview on Arsenal 360 right here on Yes. David Robertson, what he did last year in the regular season, 71 strikeouts in 61 1/3 innings, 33 walks, 59 hits. Good numbers, 3.82 earned run average. So he will follow Dylan Betances, who went 2 innings, allowed a run, 3 hits, and a walk. Before that, Freddie Garcia pitched 3 perfect innings for the Yankees, 9 up and 9 down. Here's Martin Prado. And there's a strike. You think that Robertson is going to be the 7th inning guy, or do you think it'll be Jabba?
I think Joe Girardi, I'll give you a Joe Girardi answer. I think it's going to come down to matchups. But Jabba has looked pretty good this spring, but I would have said heading into the spring, I would think that Robertson was the favorite ahead of Jabba.
Now, they also could mix and match because they've got 2 lefties in Feliciano and Boone Logan. So you could have 3 pitchers pitch the 7th inning. You could have a lefty that you bring Feliciano in, then you could bring in Robertson or Jabba for a righty, and then another lefty, and you could then bring in Boone Logan if you want to burn 3 pitchers for 1 out or one inning.
And we've seen the way Joe Girardi manages, Michael, and I think you're exactly right. That's why I don't know that there will be a definitive 7th inning guy. Girardi will go with whatever matchup he likes the best on that given day.
That's the projected bullpen. There's 1 spot open. Now, one of the losers in the battle for the 4th and 5th role could be the long man if the Yankees carry 12 pitchers, and they probably will. Prado swings and misses. The ball gets away from Montero, and he fires the first, not in time. So a strikeout and a wild pitch as Prado reaches first.
Yeah, a lot of eyes are going to be watching Montero behind the plate. Ball in the dirt, does a nice job keeping it in front. That angle with his chest could be a little bit better to deaden the ball more closer towards home plate. It ricochets out towards the field. He comes around it in good shape and again shows a strong throwing arm. Prado just able to beat it. Technique just needs a little bit of improvement with the angle of his chest so that baseball will deaden around home plate.
Pitch is low to Jordan Schaefer. You know, we talk about youngsters that are highly touted, and some are touted as can't miss. A couple of years ago, Jordan Schaefer was can't miss, but injuries, wrist injuries really slowed him down, and now he's trying to work his way back into a prominent level as a prospect for the Braves. But we talked yesterday, this is the toughest sport to project. This guy has all the skills, he has the 5 tools, rates high on every single level, but it might not translate to production at the major league level. And also, injuries, you can't predict them.
And you also look at that major league draft, and talking to Damon Oppenheimer, who handles that for the Yankees, you have to grade, not sometimes, all the time. You might have an 18-year-old kid, high school kid. You might have a 23-year-old college kid. And you've got to figure out which one of those you think, as you just said, Michael, projecting two years down the road for the college kid and maybe 5 years down the road for the high school kid, which one of these guys fits better into your organization. As a team that has been picking towards the end of the first round, the Yankees, because they've been successful, Oppenheimer told me that he is pushing more towards getting the prep school kids, getting the younger kids, because the impact college players are already gone by the time the Yankees pick.
Strike 3, Schaefer down looking.
Well, Michael and I talked about it a little bit yesterday. You know, we're hearing all about the top-tier prospects, Montero and Betances, but the second-tier guys kind of jump up on you. You know, they fly under the radar a little bit, and then the next thing you know, they get an opportunity in the big leagues to show what they can do, and possibility to stick around for a while.
Well, if you look, Flash, at what Ivan Nova did last year, he elevated himself in the system last year, and then he was in the major leagues. He was not one of their premier pitching prospects. He had the season that was able to get him to the major leagues, and you're right, players can go out there and do that.
Robertson kind of ascended through the Yankee system under the radar. It wasn't one of those guys that we always talked about, big-time prospect for the Yankees, but he's become a big-time contributor.
He's kind of flying under the radar this spring as well. Jabba getting a lot of attention early on. Changed his mechanics. Velocity has improved. David Robertson just getting his work and looks pretty sharp this inning.
I think that what you see in baseball, the higher the draft pick, the more chances they'll get and the longer the look, because people are trying to justify their job position. But Mike Piazza in the 60th round, 67th round, Don Mattingly in the 46th round, it happens that you get stars and Hall of Famers completely out of the first 50 rounds. That's just the way it is.
That's why it proves what you said earlier, Michael, just about how difficult it is. It's a more difficult draft.
A nice block here by Montero, and does a better job with the angle of that chest and the protector, and you can see the ball just deadens out in front of home plate. Nice adjustment.
Look at a guy like Brett Gardner. He's a walk-on in college. Ends up being the starting left fielder for the Yankees.
Runner goes. Strike 3 as Chipper down looking. He's 0 for 3. And Prado picks up a stolen base.
I'm not quite sure why Montero, you can see he tapped his chest protector. I don't think he saw the runner stealing. He blocked out by Chipper Jones being the left-handed batter, and then he's surprised to see him take off. You can see he doesn't come out ready to make a throw. I'm sure there'll be a conversation about that in the dugout between innings.
Is it possible there, John, that he was almost more concerned with framing the pitch? That's what it looked like to me, that he was so concerned with framing the pitch that he forgot to look up and see if the runner was going.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he probably would have wanted some help from his first baseman to yell out that the runner was going. It just looked like he got caught surprised a little bit.
Could it have been that he thought it was a final out?
No, I don't think so, because he would have reacted by heading towards the dugout with strike 3.
But I think he saw people move, and then he realized that it wasn't. I don't know, but I mean, you would think that he might have thrown the ball, or at least got up quickly. There's a strike to Dan Uggla. It's funny, at his age, we'll sit here and we'll dissect every single move he makes.
Yeah.
If Posada did that same thing, they'll say, you know what, he just didn't feel he had a chance to get him. He was more concerned with getting the batter. The 1-1. 2-1. David Robertson has struck out 3 guys this inning. 1 reached on a wild pitch, so he has a chance to get the rare 4 strikeout inning. Count 3-1. There's a strike.
Well, we heard Joe Girardi talk about Uggla and how he likes to hit that fastball. We'll see what David Robertson and Montero are thinking here in a 3-2 count.
Yankees 5 runs on 10 hits. The Braves 1, 3, and 0. Next inning, we're going to get a chance to see Andrew Brackman for the first time this spring. 3-2. Just missed outside, so Uggla works a walk. I know you had an opportunity to talk to Larry Rothschild. A lot of people are raving about the new Yankee pitching coach. What's your sense with him, Jack?
Well, today I just wanted to ask him about the kids, Michael, and I wondered, with guys like Betances and Brackman, guys that he obviously wants to see, but who probably aren't going to be a part of the rotation to start the season. Well, they're not. We know that they aren't. Betances will probably start at AA. Brackman thinks he'll be at AAA. But Rothschild said to me, one of these kids is going to blow up. That was his terminology for meaning one of these kids is going to come out of the gate and have a great season. And he said, we have to be prepared and we have to be ready, because at some point, you may see a Banuelos, you may see a Brackman, you may see a Betances. So I thought that was very interesting that he is obviously watching those kids as closely as he's watching Freddie Garcia.
Hot shot, first base, foul.
I thought, Michael, the Yankees might go Betances, Brackman, which would have meant a 6'8 pitcher to a 6'11 pitcher. Now, they stuck David Robertson in the middle here, but just to have some fun, it got me thinking, and Chris Sheeran thought of this too, our clubhouse reporter, a tall pitcher followed by another tall pitcher. And the best I could come up with was Randy Johnson to Jeff Nelson, 6'10 to 6'8. You guys got anything better than that?
When you think tall, you definitely think Randy Johnson.
John Roush, right? He's a big boy.
6'11".
That one gets past Montero as the runners move up. The new Met pitcher, Chris Young, is a tall guy.
We'll take a look at this pitch from David Robertson. He yanks. I don't know if that's a changeup or a fastball. But right away, you see it get by Montero. Didn't have much of a chance for this one. Tries to get his body in front just a little bit late. More blame goes to the pitcher there than the catcher, in my opinion.
The 2-1. 3-1. Interesting inning for Montero. The strikeout wild pitch, the stolen base without a throw, and that wild pitch right there allowing the runners to move up. Robertson's fastball plays much higher than 91. I don't know if he's on top of you or the easy motion, John, but you could sense that 91 should not have you be that late.
I think it has to do with that easy motion and his arm angle. But you're right, he throws a lot of fastballs by some hitters and 90, 91 miles an hour.
Line drive, base hit to right field. Scoring is Prado. Here comes Uggla. Here's the throw. In there. 2-run single for Hinsky. And the Yankee lead is 5-3.
Yeah, this is when you're a catcher and you let a ball get by you that you're disappointed. The base hit, it's going to mean a couple RBIs, and it's that fastball again that Hinsky just a little bit quicker. A good throw from Peraz in right field. Montero fields it and then tries to apply a tag. Is going to be late.
A little strange that Ugla didn't slide. Almost got tagged out there because of that. Here's Alex Gonzalez as the Braves closing in. Deficit down to 2. Pitch outside to Gonzalez. Yankees don't mind this sort of inning. They're learning things about Montero right here. You want to see some adversity, a rough inning, see how he reacts to certain situations. And then they have to sit there and calculate the odds. Okay, is it worth him being our backup catcher? Can we lose some games because of his inexperience? Will we win games because of the bat that he brings to the party? Those are all things that will go into the decision. Hot shot up the middle, off the mound. Grabbed there by Nunez, fires to first, and he's got it. Nice scoop by Vasquez as Nunez made a good play beyond the bag to gun down Gonzalez. But the Braves scored 2 runs on 1 hit, 1 man left. We go to the 7th, 5-3 Yanks.
The New York Yankees are tradition.
Swung on and missed. Sabathia is dealing.
2011 New York Yankees season tickets are on sale now with a number of great benefits, including savings off of the game day ticket prices. Several ticket plans also include postseason benefits. Yankee season ticket plans are available on both a full season and partial season basis, starting with our 11-game plan. Buy your season ticket plan today. Call 212-YANKEES or log on to Yankees.com.
There's nothing that works like confidence. Especially with all this to back it up.
At the Lincoln Spring Forward event, get an attractive sign and drive lease plus 4 years complimentary maintenance on a Lincoln MKZ.
It's not just luxury, it's smarter than that.
Geico. Saving people money on more than just car insurance.
Arsenal and Barcelona meet in a Champions League showdown on Yes, Thursday at 7:30. Get a full match preview with Arsenal 360. Then after a scintillating win over Barca at the Emirates, the Gunners look to finish off Lionel Messi and company at Camp Nou. Can Arsenal shock the world in advance? Find out Thursday starting at 7:30 right here on Yes.
Little tiny Jeter fan in the crowd here at Champion Stadium. Let's take a look now at the game summary presented by Lincoln. 5-10-0 Yanks, 3-4-0 for the Braves. Freddie Garcia started really an outstanding outing. Didn't even throw enough pitches, had to go down to the bullpen to throw more. Betances, 2 innings, 3 hits, a run, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. And Granderson, another good day. He's had a good spring, 2 for 3, a 2-run triple over the head of Jordan Schaefer. New pitcher for the Braves is Peter Moylan. Grounded foul. Those are the numbers on Moylan last year. Joe Mather is the new first baseman for the Braves. Jordan Peraz with the count 0-2 against Moylan. Breaking ball. One of the things that the Braves have to work out this spring is who's going to be their closer. Billy Wagner was lights out for them last year, coming back from Tommy John surgery. swing and a miss. Perez down on strikes. And this is the way the bullpen projects right now. Venters and Kimbrel. You've got Moylan, Linebrink, Sherrill, and O'Flaherty. A couple of hard throwers at the top there. But no one understood why Billy Wagner retired. John, he was throwing 97 miles an hour last year, pitching some of his best baseball, but he said it was time.
It's time to go, and you know, you respect the decision. Obviously, time with the family important to Billy Wagner. He's had a great career, but the Braves have plenty of arms in that bullpen, and we just saw that graphic. I mean, Kimbrel and Venters both have closer-type stuff, especially Kimbrel has a big-time arm. O'Flaherty, probably the most intelligent guy in that pen.
Is that the end of his name? Is that one?
Of course. Good bloodlines.
Yep. Boy, if he was a catcher, solve a lot of the world's problems.
But you're right. You look at this team now. You're right about solving the world's problems.
Mesa down on strikes.
But you look at this Braves team, and they're going to sneak up on some people. I mean, the Philadelphia Phillies getting a lot of attention, and rightfully so, with their rotation, and we saw that club yesterday. But you look on paper, great bullpen for the Atlanta Braves. Rotation is solid and score some runs. Chipper Jones coming back from a knee injury. New manager Freddie Gonzalez. To be excited about.
Our good buddy Buster Only of ESPN has actually said to me, he picked on my radio show, he said, I think the Braves are going to beat out the Phillies for the National League East. Kyle Higashioka. Boy, Moylan looked like he'd be tough against righties.
I was just thinking, you know, some of these kids coming in the game late, you get maybe one or two at bats in a ball game, and you got to face a tough righty like Moylan dropping down. It's called a tough draw. Good movement on the fastball, in on the hands.
The 2-2 swung on and missed. An impressive inning for Moylan as he strikes out the side in order. Oh, we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Time for the 7th inning stretch here at Champion Stadium. Those guys, they're playing it. It says it all.
People say when you're...
Tomorrow, the Nets are back home in the States when they host the Warriors in Newark. Complete coverage starts at 6:30 with the Nets pregame. Then Ian Eagle and Jim Spernarkle have the call from courtside. Warriors-Nets. Coverage starts tomorrow at 6:30. It's only on Yes. We get our first look at a guy who could be on the Nets. Andrew Brackman, 6'11". And this is his first spring training start. First spring training appearance, should I say. Those are his numbers last year at Trenton AA. Line drive and a base hit.
Well, the first thing you pay attention to with a guy this tall is his mechanics. As you see his resume, played basketball and baseball at NC State. 78th best prospect in baseball. Mechanics look pretty compact and together, Michael. Looks pretty simple. Be able to repeat that delivery.
Ford scoreboard is 5-3, Yankees over the Braves. Now sometimes with big guys you can run on them. There's a ground ball to short. Bernier will go to second one. On to first, not in time. Matt Young beat out the return throw.
We'll take a look at the delivery for Andrew Brackman. Pretty simple right there, nice and compact. Good balance on the finish.
Yankees drafted Brackman, and they convinced him not to pursue basketball. First round pick, as you saw, but he had to have Tommy John surgery. They drafted him knowing that. So it's taken him a while to come back from that, then harness his talent, then believe in himself. And he finally put it all together last year toward the end But at times he said he was out there, he was beating himself up, feeling he was letting down his teammates, and he didn't have positive thoughts on the mound. But the Yankees liked what they saw toward the end of the year. And usually when you look at the careers of pitchers that are tall, it takes a while for them to put it together. Randy Johnson is the perfect example of that. Teams gave up on him, but it takes a lot to get all of those moving parts in sync. And those are the tallest players right there in big league history. And Andrew Brackman actually grew an inch from last year. He was 6'10 last year. He's 6'11 this year. There's a strike to Bowman. He was slowed down a bit in spring training, kind of tweaked his groin. They shut him down. So this is why it's his first appearance in a game. He had an outside chance. I mean, really, really a long shot, but he had an outside chance to make the team coming out of spring training. Now it's going to be tough as the breaking ball is swung on and missed. Good pitch there by Brackman.
Looks like a slider, and it's a good one, or maybe a little power curveball. It gets on top nice, some good action down and away. Obviously being 6'11", a great angle to pitch downhill. Be deceptive for the hitter.
Now, one thing that Joe Girardi wanted to do before the game, and he mentioned this when he was on with us in the fourth inning, he sought out Andrew Brackman. And he said, just because you missed the first couple times through, I do not want you to try to do too much. He said, just stay within yourself. He said, you don't have to make up time. There's still plenty of time left in spring training for you to show us what you can do. Now, a kid could sit there and nod, but in the back of his head, he could say, you know what, I got to make up time.
Yeah, but you watch him, it doesn't look like he's overthrowing at all. Nice, easy delivery. To 96 miles an hour on the gun. And again, we're going to take another look at the delivery. You don't see any overthrowing in this pitch. Nice and simple down the hill. Right on time, good balance.
One. Got the velocity, that's for sure. You can see why they're excited about him. Seems like an easy 96, John.
You know, of course, when you break down a young pitcher, can he throw a breaking ball behind in the count for a strike? These are all things that we're going to find out as we watch Brackman through the rest of spring training. He likes his fastball, not afraid to challenge some hitters, throwing strikes. We'll see if we get that curveball again on a 2-2 count. This was the last fastball. Outer half.
See, Jose Gil is the new first baseman for the Yankees, and the new catcher is Gustavo Molina. I'm gonna wake you up with that. Give a little bow tie.
See Molina setting up away. A little late with his arm that time, rides up and in. Really the first pitch we've seen from Brackman in this inning that really missed. Everything else has been pretty much where he's wanted to throw it.
Runner goes. High fly ball, center field. Melky Mesa back, and he'll make the play, so Andrew Brackman works a scoreless 7th inning. No runs a hit, and one man left. Let's go to the 8th inning. 5-3 Yanks. Bring your family, friends, or business associates out to Yankee Stadium for a group outing and enjoy Yankees baseball in a game day suite. Game day suites can accommodate groups between 12 and 382 guests with all-inclusive food and non-alcoholic beverage packages. Make your special occasion legendary. Call 212-YANKEES, email suites@yankees.com, or log on to yankees.com/suites. Gustavo Molina pops up Scott Proctor's first pitch, and there's one away. One pitch, one out. That's what Proctor did last year. He's had a lot of arm problems since he left the Yankees. He used to throw very, very hard.
Trying to resurrect his career here in Atlanta. Remember Scott from the Yankee days, you mentioned it, Michael, a good hard fastball, power curveball, mixing an occasional changeup. Coming back from some arm injuries, 92 miles an hour with that fastball.
Count 1-1. Jair Jurgens started for the Braves, and he lasted 4 innings, allowed 4 runs. That's Proctor's resume. He's got the arm up to 93 miles an hour again.
Yeah, pretty good.
Popped up, right field for the second out.
Remember Scott Proctor when he came to his first camp with the New York Yankees after the trade for Robin Ventura, and you know, stretching out in the outfield before one of the games, and he came over, started talking, and he said, you know I have no chance to pitch for this team, so I'm just gonna try to get my work. I'll be back in minor league camp. And I said, why would you think that? And he said, well, it's the New York Yankees. I mean, it's not like this is the Florida Marlins. And his mindset was completely in a different place. And it just reminds me some of the young kids who now come to camp with the Yankees. You could tell they believe they're ready to make this team. They're ready to make that next step. And Scott finally believed it and had a nice career in New York.
Count 0-1 to Russo. Inside. Did he make the team that camp?
He didn't make it out of spring training, but I think he was not long in the minor leagues, and he came up and got an opportunity and made the most of it. But there is a mental hurdle. Good breaking ball there. There is a mental hurdle when you come to the New York Yankees that, when you're a kid, can I pitch in the big leagues first of all, and can I pitch for this team in New York? I think more and more you're seeing young kids come through the system who believe they can and believe that they'll make a major impact.
New Braves catcher is Jesus Sucre. Russo fouls it off. Yankees come into this game 4-5-1. The Braves are 7-3. And the count 3-2 on Russo. Yankees up 5-3. Beautiful day here in Lake Buena Vista. High fly ball down the left field line. And that'll do it as the Yankees go down in order against Scott Proctor. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's 5-3 Bombers.
A leader knows what it takes to be the best, like the Ford Escape, with quality that can't be beat by Honda or Toyota. During the leadership sales drive, lease a new Escape for just $179 a month. Quality-minded, savings assured at your Tri-State Ford dealer.
Springtime belongs to the doers, those of us who know grass doesn't turn green just because the calendar says to, and that a big difference can grow from a small budget. For those of us with grass on our sneakers, dirt on our jeans, and a lawn that's as healthy as our savings, the days are about to get a whole lot greener. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. We're lowering the cost of crowd control on those weeds with this Ryobi trimmer, just $89.
Why drive an SUV that's as aerodynamic as an elephant when you could drive this? the stylish yet nimble 5-passenger Mazda CX-7 or the 7-passenger Mazda CX-9 with standard Bluetooth technology and available blind spot monitoring, giving the Mazda CX-9 the highest predicted resale value in its class. Now get a low $289 a month, 36-month lease on the Mazda CX-9 all-wheel drive, but only through March.
40 years ago, he wasn't worried about retirement. He'd yet to hear of mutual funds, IRAs, or annuities. Back then, he had something more important to do. He wasn't focused on his future. But fortunately, somebody else was. At USAA, we provide retirement solutions for our military, veterans, and their families. From investments to life insurance to healthcare options. Learn more with our free USAA Retirement Guide. Call 877-242-USAA.
Want to know what it takes to be a leader? How about just being the best? Like Ford Escape with an unbelievable 28 miles per gallon. During our leadership sales drive, lease an Escape for just $179 a month. Less stops at the pump, more savings in your wallet at your Tri-State Ford dealer.
We go to the bottom of the 8th inning here at Champion Stadium. Yankees lead the Braves 5-3. New pitcher for the Yankees is Warner Madrigal. Now, the important pitchers for the Yankees are a little bit early, not to take anything away from Madrigal, but obviously Freddie Garcia started, and the Yankees wanted to see how he was going to do in his second outing, and really he was lights out. 9 up, 9 down, 3 perfect innings, and Chris Sheeran caught up with Freddie Garcia.
Thank you, Michael. Here with today's starter, Freddie Garcia. You have to be thrilled with that, backing up A.J. Burnett's perfect 3 innings yesterday with 3 perfect of your own today.
Well, I feel really good, man, and I have to pitch that way. I have to pitch that way because I have to win the spot. It's a couple spots in the rotation, and everybody pitching good. So I gotta do my job and put some zero in the ball.
What does that say with the competition that all 4 of you, 20 innings pitched, 14 strikeouts, 1 walk? I mean, that has to speak volumes to you guys really wanting these spots, right?
That's a competition. And hopefully, ends on the spring training. I'm being there, man. In this rotation, play for the Yankees, man.
Only 32 pitches today. You had to do a little bit more work in the bullpen. What did you work on, and was Larry Rothschild out there working with you?
No, I throw how many? 32 pitches. Went down to the bullpen, throw 20 more. Well, the key has been, throw a lot of strike, be aggressive, and try to keep the ball down, man. And make the pitch where I need it.
Thanks a lot, Freddie. Michael, let's send it back to you.
Thanks, Chris. So great job by Freddie Garcia. It's hard not to be impressed by the way he pitched. Again, you tempered a bit because you say it's early in spring training, only about 10, 12 games in. But he knows he has to perform, and so far he has. In fact, all 4 guys competing for that spot in the rotation, number 4 and number 5, they've done everything that you'd want them to do. All have pitched 5 innings apiece, and they've allowed just 1 run. That was by Bartolo Colon. Those are Madrigal's numbers from last year.
Well, obviously, Garcia, nice afternoon, 3 innings. Very economical with his pitches. Like that interview right there with Chris, though. He's kind of embracing this competition thing, like I got to go out there and win a job. And I know at the end of your career, end of my career, I had to come into Yankee camp and try to beat out Chris Widger, which I was lucky enough to do. But you almost embrace it, Michael. You have all those years where you have guaranteed spots on a roster. You have a job. You're just getting ready for the season in spring training. And then you come in a situation where you have to win and compete for a job. And it looks like Freddie Garcia is enjoying that. And he's obviously stepping up to the plate.
Popped up. Catch is made by Doug Bernier, and there's 1 away. Now, as we said earlier, he has a history throughout his major league career of really getting hit hard in spring training. But this was 1 year he knew that he could not work on things, and he had to work to get outs on the mound because he couldn't come in at the end of the spring with a 10.5 ERA and expect to make the team. This is a results business, and so far he's gotten the results. Here's Wilkin Ramirez pinch hitting for Chipper Jones, and that's fouled away. I think the Yankees have a little bit of a conundrum, though. The way I look at it, I don't think that they would mind having Sergio Mitre be in the bullpen. I think they're comfortable with him as a swing guy. If they need a 6th starter, somebody goes down with an injury. But what do you do with the 2 veterans and the 1 kid that you like so much? You don't want to risk losing a veteran that could go and help somebody else. What do you do with Cologne if he doesn't become one of the 2? Well, do you feel that Nova, if he pitches well, would accept going down gracefully? Now, he couldn't argue the point, but you wonder how he would handle it emotionally. It's a tough call. You got 2 veterans that, you know, they either have to be starters or you wonder if they're going to be let go out of fairness to them. And then you got 1 kid that you really like a lot.
Yeah, it's a good situation to be in, obviously, because all 3 of those guys that you're talking about, and Mitre also throwing the ball well.
Grounded to third. Subtle. They get him for the second out.
But, and you know, we don't know a whole lot about the contract situation. We'll look at Freddie Garcia and some of the highlights of his afternoon. He had a couple of strikeouts. Mentioned it earlier, very economical with his pitches. Threw a lot of strikes. Little slider that backed up to Dan Uggla for a first strikeout, and then a fastball just perfectly located down and away. But, Michael, we don't know a lot about the contract situation, so I'm sure there's some language in there with Freddie Garcia and Bartolo Colon. If you don't make the team, you know, you'll get a little buyout in your release, and you can go try to find a big league job somewhere else, I would assume. But the Ivan Nova thing is very interesting because he has plenty of options that he can be sent back down to the minor leagues, continue your development, and then you keep the 2 veteran guys and your youngster in the minor leagues. As Joe Girardi said, these things usually have a way of working themselves out, though.
And you also look at these guys, and Bartolo of late has certainly had a history of injuries. And maybe you keep him and he gives you 2 good months and then he breaks down. You don't want that to happen. And then you have Nova ready coming out of the minor leagues. And sometimes with these veterans that sign make good contracts, the team doesn't want to get burned if he pitches well and they don't have room. So they might write in, we'll send you to the minor leagues. And then if you're not called up by X date, then you could declare your free agency. As Brooks Conrad walks against Madrigal. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. And the pitch to Mather is outside 1-0. Ten homers last year at AAA. And now Molina wants to go out and talk with Madrigal. And so does Larry Rothschild. I don't know if the Yankee pitching coach saw something with Madrigal, but he quickly comes out. The Yankees have a couple of hurlers down in the bullpen. Sometimes it's a simple adjustment. He saw him maybe opening up, something like that, and he just wanted to straighten him out before things got out of hands. There's a strike. It's always good when a pitching coach comes out and the next pitch is a strike. It's always bad when a pitching coach comes out and the next pitch is hit for a home run. It just doesn't look good. It's a bad optic. The 2-1. Driven out toward right field. Perez is there toward the line and he'll make the play. So whatever Rothschild said certainly resonated. One man left. Let's go to the ninth. The Yankees are up 5-3.
36 miles per gallon on the highway. iVTEC engine. The Honda Civic.
I love it.
Hey, right now you could really save big on one. Come on, I'll show you. All right. Give me a boost.
Yeah. Okay, over.
Hurry into Honda's Really Big Thing sales event. For great leases and low financing, see your Honda dealer.
The New York Yankees are great moments.
See ya! What a play! He got him!
Yankee fans, bring your family, friends, or business associates to Yankee Stadium for a group outing and enjoy Yankees baseball in a game day suite. Game day suites can accommodate groups as small as 12 and up to 382 guests with all-inclusive food and non-alcoholic beverage packages. Make your special occasion legendary. Call 212-YANKEES, email suites@yankees.com, or log on to yankees.com/suites.
It's amazing what the right key can do for you. Whether it's getting to work or as far from it as possible. And now that Chevy Truck Month is here, it's time to get the keys that you can depend on. During Chevy Truck Month, qualified buyers get 0% APR financing for 60 months on a 2011 Tahoe. Get the keys that do more.
Spring training baseball continues on Yes, Friday at 1. With position battles and the rotation still open, the Yankees' young guns look to make a showing against the Braves in Tampa. Spring training baseball continues Friday at 1, only on Yes.
Today's Game on Yes is brought to you in part by Nissan. Get to the Nissan Now sales event for the Nissan U1. Visit choosenissan.com or your local dealer now. By DirecTV, don't just watch TV, DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. And by Mazda, Zoom. Just a gorgeous day here at Walt Disney World, and that's where this stadium is located, in the ESPN Wide World of Sports portion. And there's Greg Kimbrell. Boy, can he pitch. 40 strikeouts in 20 and 2/3 innings, so 2 strikeouts an inning last year, and he's one of the guys who might be the closer. Nasty stuff. Here's Bradley Suttle. Pitches high. Shadow of the light tower, now going across home plate.
Yeah, so you're subtle and you get an at bat at the end of the game. You face the Braves closer who strikes out 2 an inning, and you got to deal with a shadow.
Not too subtle.
Good numbers with Tampa, and again, the 10 home runs and the 80 RBIs. Florida State League, known as a pitcher's league. Big ballparks, pretty impressive.
The 2-0. Kimbrell overthrowing in the count 3-0. There's a strike, pours it right over at 93 miles an hour.
Right, look for the fastball now. You know you're probably going to get it. 3-1 from Kimbrell. He's got a good one, so get it going early.
And he does. Oh, what a play by Mather. Taking a base hit away from Suttle.
Well, he doesn't pick up the base hit, but I'm sure he opens up some eyes. A nice swing. Gets the fastball he was looking for. Just hits a rocket. See why he had good numbers in single A at Tampa. Gets on top of a high fastball and more impressive.
Doug Bernier takes a pitch high, 96 miles an hour. Breaking ball on the outside corner. 1-1.
Yeah, that's a difference right there. A 1-0 breaking ball, drops it in for a strike. You're looking for 95, 96, and he does that.
Now when he bounces up there, count 2-1. One of the more famous sequences in Atlanta Brave history was a guy who threw hard and got beaten on a secondary pitch. And that was Mark Wohlers against Jim Leyritz in the 1996 World Series. And, you know, that's the forever question in Atlanta. Why would you speed up a guy's bat when he's late on your fastball? And Jim Leyritz hit that big 3-run home run. Strike 3. Bernier down looking. I guess that's always a real problem for a catcher and a pitcher, John. You want to keep people off balance. especially a relief pitcher. Last thing you want to do is get beaten on your second best pitch, and he used his first one right there.
Perfect location down and away. But you know what, from a catching standpoint, Michael, you always feel like you got to mix a little bit to keep the hitters off of that fastball, because if you see 95, 96, 4 or 5 pitches in a row, you're going to get some good swings. And the unfortunate thing for Mark Wohlers, he made a bad pitch with his second best pitch.
Right.
Hung a slider. It ended up getting knocked out of the yard.
The 1-0. Chopped right back to Kimbrel. And that's going to do it as they retire Crum. Yankees go down in order. Last licks coming up for the Braves. Stick around for the bottom of the 9th inning on Yes.
There's nothing that works like confidence. Especially with all this to back it up.
At the Lincoln Spring Forward event, get an attractive sign and drive lease plus 4 years complimentary maintenance on a Lincoln MKZ.
It's not just luxury, it's smarter than that.
Going to the bank without going to the bank. That's a step forward. With Chase Quick Deposit on your smartphone, you just snap a picture, hit send, and done. Chase Quick Deposit. Take a step forward and chase what matters.
It's comparable to the Toyota.
Why do so many car companies compare themselves to Toyota? Maybe it's because Toyota is the #1 choice among consumers, or because of vehicles like RAV4, named a best overall value of the year. Get a 2011 RAV4 with 0% APR financing for 60 months, or a $199 a month lease. Or lease a 2011 Highlander for just $279 a month. We're #1 for a reason. Come see for yourself. Hurry in for the best selection.
This Friday, the Yankees host the Braves for a rematch at Steinbrenner Field. Join Bob Lorenz and John Flaherty for coverage starting at 1, and later Friday at 10, after the Nets postgame, get all the latest news from Tampa with an all-new Yankees spring training report presented by Lincoln. It's only on Yes. Romulo Sanchez comes on for the Yankees as they try to close out this game. They lead 5-3 as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Brandon Hicks will hit for the Braves in the spot vacated by Alex Gonzalez. So Sanchez is the Yankees' 6th pitcher. Garcia started, Betances 2 innings, Robertson 1, Brackman 1, Madrigal 1, and the Yankees would like to get 1 out of Sanchez. The Yankees scored 3 in the 3rd on a 2-run triple by Granderson, an RBI single by Posto, drawn in infield. Then they scored a run in the 4th inning on the sac fly by Brandon Laird, which scored Jorge Vasquez. And then they scored their final run in the 6th inning, an RBI single by Ramiro Pena, scoring Eduardo Nunez.
Yeah, this afternoon has been about Freddie Garcia, Curtis Granderson, and Eduardo Nunez, all having big afternoons. Curtis Granderson continuing his hot spring.
The Braves scored a run in the 4th inning, a double by Prado, and then a single by Jordan Schaefer. There's a strike. And then 2 more in the 6th inning against Betances, a 2-run single by Eric Hinsky. That's the scoring in the game, as Joe Girardi will try to see his team even up its record at 5-5-1, but not a good start to the bottom of the 9th inning as Hicks works a walk.
Yeah, we saw Sanchez in his numbers from last year. He's a strikeout pitcher, but he will walk some.
Here's Jesus Sucre. his first at bat. Sanchez deals a strike. Big crowd, sellout crowd here at Champion Stadium, and some have left the ballpark on a beautiful, beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Off-speed pitch. Swung on and missed.
A nice adjustment by Sanchez. Had trouble throwing the fastball for strikes through a couple of back-to-back sliders. It's ahead in the count 0-2.
The 0-2. 1-2. Bottom of the ninth inning. Grounded foul. The 1-2. Fouled that off twice. Once and then again on the backswing. Check out this double foul. The 1-2. 2-2. Yankees and the Braves have met in the World Series twice, in '96 and '99. Yankees won both, 1-6, won a sweep in '99. In the one in '96, the Braves had a 2-0 lead. Won the first 2 games at Yankee Stadium. Braves came back, or the Yankees came back and won all 3 in Atlanta, and then won the World Series by winning Game 6 in New York. John Wetland on the mound to close it out. 3-2. Drilled deep to left field. A foul ball. And that's really the one knock that people have on the Braves. Yeah, they make the postseason, but they win enough World Series. And they only won that one in '95. That one is laced into left field. And the diving try is not enough by Crum as the ball pops out of his glove for a single. So the Braves have the tying runs on.
A good at bat from Sucre and a nice bid by Austin Crum in left field. Looked like off the bat he was going to have a chance to make an outstanding diving catch. He lays out for it, not able to make the play, but is able to keep it in front. Keep the Braves to first and second with nobody out here in the ninth.
A ball has gotten loose in the Braves bullpen in right field. It's resting on the warning track. Nobody sees it. And that's going to bring Matt Young to the plate. And a bunt. They play it like a big league game. And the throw pulls Hill off the bag, and the bases are loaded for the Braves. So it's a beautiful sack, and then they also get the runaround on the bad throw.
Young does a nice job, perfectly executed bunt. The throw just a little bit wide, pulls Hill off the bag. Inning started with a walk, and it has not gotten any better since. Just a poor job of execution there.
Larry Rothschild makes the trip out to the mound. Just want to tell everybody that as you're watching this game at home, we have lost our center field camera. So usually you'll see the pitch being delivered from center field, and that's impossible at this moment because of an electronic malfunction. So you'll be seeing the high home plate shot. So we apologize if that feels a little awkward for you. It's kind of old school baseball. That's what they used to have when TV first started. Here's Sean Bowman. He played the entire game. Bases loaded. Foul back.
Bowman's played the entire game. An opportunity here to be a hero, possibly tie this ball game up, or an extra base hit. Chance to win it.
Ground ball to third. Bernier goes to second one. On to first, it's a double play. A run scores, but the Yankees get 2 big outs, and the tying run is now at third as the Yankees are up 5-4.
Again, another trip to the mound by Larry Rothschild. The pitching coach proves to be productive. Sanchez gets the ground ball. Bernier, a little problem getting rid of it, but the double play is turned.
And here is Jose Costanza. The first at bat for Costanza in this game. And he bunts straight up in the air. Caught by Molina, and the Yankees win. I don't know, John. You're trying to impress people and get the time running, and you try to lay down a bunt with 2 outs in the 9th inning.
I guess obviously the speed is a big part of Costanza's game, but it didn't work out right there. Opportunity to be here. The ball game up did not work out.
So 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 man left as the Yankees win this 5-4, and that's what happened with Costanza. And the play made easily by Gustavo Molina as the Braves lose this one 5-4. Pretty interesting way to end the game, and obviously the big story of the game, John, Freddie Garcia.
Freddie Garcia, very economical with his pitches, 3 shutout innings, giving the Yankees something to think about for that 4th or 5th spot in the rotation.
Dellin Betances gave up a couple of runs. Well, 1 run, and David Robertson, Andrew Brackman, guys that you'd care about. 5-10-1 Yanks, 4-6-0 for the Braves. 2:43 time of the game. Garcia the win, Sanchez the loss, or Sanchez the save. Jair Jurgens took the loss. We told you about Garcia, another good day for Granderson. Brackman made his spring debut, an impressive 1 shutout inning. Well, that's going to do it from here at Champion Stadium in Lake Buena Vista, Florida. Special thanks to producer Troy Benjamin, director Michael Cooney, vice president of operations Ed Delaney, our supervising producer Woody Fryman, and the executive producer is Mr. John J. Filippelli. Join us again Friday for Yankees baseball as the Bombers take on the Braves from George M. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, Florida. Coverage begins at 1 p.m. on the YES Network. Once again, the final score of the New York Yankees 5, the Atlanta Braves 4. For John Flaherty, I'm Michael Kay saying see ya from Champion Stadium here in Florida. Have a good day, everybody. So long.
There's no force like the one that comes from joining forces. No strength like strength in numbers. The kind of numbers delivered by Ram 1500, a 390 horsepower Hemi V8, 20 mpg, a 5-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Strength in numbers, now during Ram Truck Month.
Get the 2011 Ram 1500 Bighorn 4x4 with a no extra charge Hemi V8 for $299 a month for well-qualified lessees.
It's the bottom of the 9th. Full count. It all comes down to this pitch. Darryl steps up to the plate. It could be. It could be. It's gone. Darryl has done it again.
Save $80 on the Easton Stealth Speed Bat. This and everything baseball. Sports Authority. All things sporting good.
The in crowd. They know the in spots, the in places, inside and out. They know the beautiful people, and they know how to get there in style. The in crowd, those who choose Infinity of Manhattan. In Manhattan, yet in keeping with low price and high quality, and inviting the tri-state area to save on
the M37X at an insider's price of only $479 per month.
So get into the in crowd. Get into Infinity of Manhattan.
Sniffing out the best pre-owned Lexus is now puppy's play at preownedplatinum.com.
Fetch the pick of the litter from the inventories of the Tri-State's leading Lexus dealers. That's hundreds of cars from which we pick the highest value, lowest priced Lexus in the market that day. Unconditional love or exchange it within 48 hours. At preownedplatinum.com, pedigree is assured by a Carfax vehicle history. We are doggedly committed to making credit easy. So log on now. The pick of the Lexus litter is waiting for you at preownedplatinum.com. We lick those other websites.
If you think you have to put off getting a new car, think twice, as in Bay Ridge Nissan.
And Nissan on Manhattan.